Michigan sports. Red Wings, Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Michigan State, and the list goes on. And you love beer. Who doesn't? What if we mixed the two together? This is State of My Sports. We'll talk everything Michigan sports, like only we do, and then we'll down our fair share of beer from a local brewery. Rating the beer throughout the episode, so pop a cold one on your end, and we'll get busy on ours. This is the State of My Sports.
And this is episode 166, here on July 26, 2022. During our beer flight segment, we'll discuss the Tigers taking offers on Scooble. Everyone's favorite governor takes on a Big Ten expansion. He has a take on that one. We're going to talk about that. Kyler Murray's new contract, good stuff, fun stuff to talk about. I have a feeling these are going to be some interesting conversations.
Better do your homework.
He's your favorite quarterback, right?
For our main topics, we will preview the Detroit Lions training camp, talk about some of the players to keep an eye on, and some position battles we find the most intriguing. We will also introduce a new segment we like to call Shred It or Save It. What's the word? Dabbling with? Is that the?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Eventually, I want to get like a sounder that has a shredding sound.
Shred it.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Like a shredder. Isn't there a guy like?
What's the opposite of
from
shred?
Ninja Turtles?
I don't know.
Shredder.
That's what I couldn't figure out. That's why I said save. So I was like, I don't know.
Archive?
Archive
Like,
it.
almost say it like Street Fighter. Shred it.
I was thinking
If
shred
you
it
shred
or
it, for sure.
I was thinking about shred it or laminate it, but like
Shred it or send
I
it.
didn't think that was gonna work. So
Send it in the mail.
now that I've lost track. But yeah, we're gonna do that with college football. So we're gonna basically have some college football topics. We're gonna tell you guys if we should shred it or save it for to revisit at a later time, date or something like that. So we'll see if we'll get into it. But in our Betting Hero segment, we don't have a golf major, but we do have the Rocket Mortgage Classic. So we're gonna draft our Rocket Mortgage Classic golfers.
You got John on that one, or is he taking best available at the
He's
end?
probably taking best available.
All
at the
right,
end.
cool.
Yeah, I think that's only fair. And of course, we're going to grade a Michigan beer like we always do. If you are joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, let us know what you're sipping on tonight. Be part of the conversation. Let us know your opinion on all the topics and all the good stuff. We'll be trying to do our best to keep an eye on the comments and respond. Before we jump in, I did want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors to help keep this thing rolling and free for our listeners. DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe is the official brewery State of My Sports. Mac Web Design helped us get our website up and running. And Betting Hero helps us, and you get the best promos available in the sports betting world. I am Sam Waldhart. With me today, we got Micah Smith.
What up?
And Ryan Waldhart running the board, man.
Hello.
A lot of pressure on that, right?
Yeah, you wanted me to move this way, but I feel
I guess
like
I
that's
can't
going to be
really do
challenging
that.
for me.
And I didn't even have it up for you to even be paying attention as I was doing my read. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to recheck that as we go. But
I'll check as we go. Yeah, I think you're actually low right now.
am I?
I might be hitting a little high.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Hey, Baya's got a hit. Holy smokes!
Just
That's
a
amazing.
normal hit.
Just a single.
He was swinging for the fences.
Second single of the year.
Second, yeah. This is solid stuff.
Brought his average up to 2.
Exactly. But how was your guys' week? We obviously, so I was camping, so we didn't record yesterday. We got home last night, so we just decided to push it a day. So thank you guys for being flexible with that.
Well, how was camping?
John not so flexible. He had a late day at work, so he had to miss tonight.
Oh.
We miss you, John.
Yeah.
We miss you, buddy. But
Yeah, how was camping?
It was actually really fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So we were in Tawas City. We were like north of Tawas. So Ascoso, I believe, or Ascoda, or one of those Osos or something.
Okay.
Really, really nice. I guess it's not even a lake. It's more of a river, but massive. I mean, and there are maybe 6 houses on this lake, and it is one of the biggest, I'm going to call it lakes I've ever seen. And it just kind of winds through like a river, because that's the river. But, I mean, I know it's very confusing.
There's got to be some river monsters in there.
He's going to call it an ocean here in about 60
the
seconds.
Yeah, it's where the
salty river.
It's where the whale watching is what Kyle would give me a hard time for that. But no, it was really good. The kids had a blast. We got to hang out with some friends, Justin and Haley. Huge shout out to them. Thank you. for having us. And
so that's
awesome.
on the east side, right?
Yeah.
Which is, to me, is not normally somewhere I would even think of as far as like, let's go camping, let's find a campground.
Yeah.
Where would you go? Up north is what you would think. Which is probably a little bit north from where we are now. But if you're all the way over, like I've never even considered camping over there.
Yeah.
It's awesome, really.
It was awesome. The water was beautiful. Amazing dune, like sand dunes and stuff that you could park the boat at and stuff. So it was a good time. We hung out at their house because they live over there as well. Got to ride dirt bikes, and the boys loved that, and just had a really good time with them.
Like electric bikes, or
one was electric,
motor?
and then the kids rode the electric one. Then I was riding the gas one, and then with the kids in front and stuff. So
dirt bike.
What was it? Do you know?
No idea.
What color?
Red and white.
Honda.
I don't think it was a Honda though. For some, I don't know. I don't know.
Red and white.
I could show you a picture.
Yeah, I want to see a picture later. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Husqvarna.
Right.
Yes.
Ask
no,
Kramer.
it wasn't Husqvarna. I have no clue. But, anyways, yeah, it was a good time. But I did miss Thursday's baseball or softball game. And I heard there's quite the story to tell of that.
Oh,
I don't.
there's nothing going
I
on.
don't think so. Yeah.
So there was a memo going around the league that, with me being gone, they all knew I was going to be gone. They're like, "Oh, good, nobody's going to be yelling at the umps."
Yeah.
And they had a week off from that. But there's one other Waltart they had to worry about, I guess.
Yep,
What
screw them.
What in the world happened? Like, what's going on here? I get a text from Trav. He goes, "Dude, Ryan just got booted." I'm like, "What? Like, what is going on?" So
Yeah.
I need to know what happened.
Well, my kids could tell you the whole story because
They
watched.
watching?
They watched me get thrown out of an adult league slow pitch softball game. So
I think
that
it was
good.
Quinn and your wife had front row seats to
Oh,
this.
Cece was there. Oh yeah, she was there. What? Who?
Both
Bring
of you
down?
just a tad. Just a tad.
Or should we bump you up?
No, I'm seeing red. I don't
Bump
like red.
you up.
Ooh.
All right.
You're
all
looking
right.
at a
Don't bump
shirt.
you up. I want to bump you up.
All right.
Don't you know? I love that song.
Yeah,
All right.
so here, I'll lay it out for you.
All right.
So I hit a ball decently hard. It was like I got jammed a little bit, like I usually do these days. But ball goes, they were playing me pretty deep, so it was right at the guy playing left center field. He'd moved over a little bit. I thought it might get past him. It didn't. And then I'm thinking, when's the last time I've seen an accurate throw from the outfield that far? I'm just going to go to second no matter what.
Right.
He put it on the base. So good for him. It was like actually a good athlete. Good throw. I figured I was out. No big deal. But I was like to the outside, running pretty wide. The throw was a little bit to the outside. So I just like moved to the end. It was not even an athletic play at all on my part. But I moved a little inside, slid like this weird little awkward slide. And the dude missed the tag by like at least a foot and a half.
And ump is standing at right center, basically, right on the grass line.
Yeah, can't see a thing. So it's not even close. He misses the tag.
Is it the typical infield ump that we have?
Yes.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Younger guy.
Yes. Super
No,
young.
it was the older
Usually
one
we're-
that has the beer
Usually
gut.
very accurate.
Oh, he was the old guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was
The older one.
very bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, he calls me out. I laugh. My first instinct is to laugh. I smile, whatever. The second baseman covers his mouth and he's like, "Dude, how like that wasn't even close. How is he calling you out?" He said that out loud to me, the second baseman. So then I'm like walking over to the ump, like past him or whatever, and I'm like, okay. First of all, it wasn't close, but second, like everybody is safe until you confirm that they're out. That's the call that you need to have. I was like, unless you see him tag me, I have to be safe. And that's all I said. And that's literally what I said as I was passing him. And he got such an attitude. He turned to me. He's like, "Not another word or I'll toss you out," or some like whatever he said. And like at that point, I was just like, "Screw this, screw you, buddy." Like I've had too many mini encounters with you.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna let this go. So I started just chirping. I don't even know what I said. I'm not sure what I was saying.
Well, I mean, I know you didn't swear at him. I've never heard you swear in my entire
he,
life.
he
exactly.
didn't swear at him.
No.
And that's the thing.
Course
Like
not.
the umps should be okay with it as long as you don't swear at them. That's the biggest thing, in my opinion.
I was being as rationally like belittling him as I could possibly be. I was just like
100%.
Yeah, just I was.
It was epic.
Yeah. So anyways, like I stayed on the field longer than I should have. I jabbed him like one too many times. I knew I was asking for it.
Yeah, you knew what you were doing.
But he still didn't toss me. He's just like looking at me like waiting. Somebody, I think maybe even Micah, I don't know, but somebody asked me, like yelled from the dugout, like, did they tag you? And I just yelled for everybody to hear. I'm like, no, it wasn't even close. He missed me by a mile. And he's like, that's it. You're out. And he tosses me out of the game. I'm not even talking to him.
The ump was barking at this point.
Oh, yeah. Not
Barking. And Ryan was walking into the dugout at that point. I was on third. Well, I was coaching third. And Shane was up. And just take it from there. I mean, then it kind of got escalated.
So then what happened?
I don't know. I honestly am gonna have to rely on
He
you on this.
blacked
out.
Because I yelled back at him. I just started being like, "Good job, ump! Like I hope you're like happy with yourself. Like good job, you tossed me out in a men's league softball game. Way to go! Total power move. Like kudos to you, but you're not gonna take anything." He's like, "I'm not gonna take crap from nobody."
And so I can't remember if it was the home plate ump or that ump out in the outfield. But at that point, after you had just passively, aggressively done what you had done from the dugout, he goes, all he said was, parking lot.
Yeah.
And he pointed at you and then pointed at the parking lot. And I'm like, wow, he just went to the parking lot.
All right, so
I didn't know he could send him to the parking lot.
Yeah, dude,
I didn't know it either.
They didn't
It's a
start the game
public-
until I got to the parking lot.
Seriously?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I like made a scene. Yeah. So I yelled from the dugout. I yelled back to the umpire at one point. I'm like, "Hey, I'd appreciate if you stay out of my personal affairs. I was talking with my teammates and you kicked me out of the game." Whatever I said. That's what I meant to say. But
That's exactly what you said.
yeah, like stay out of my business, Blue. And he's like, "No, we're not starting until the parking lot." So I go out and I know they're waiting for me to go to the parking lot. I take off my cleats as slow as possible. On the
No. Before that,
Oh,
you couldn't.
This
you,
is so
you,
epic.
You grabbed your bag. This is already after he had told you to go to the parking lot. You had grabbed your bag, and you couldn't find your keys or your wallet.
Yeah.
And you paced from one end of the bench to the other probably 3 times. And I'm standing on third, and I'm just laughing at this point. I'm like,
This is my
looks
sandals. I couldn't
bad.
find my sandals.
this looks really bad. So he finally finds his stuff, and then he goes and sits down on the bleachers with his wife and his daughter.
And I'm like slowly changing my cleats, taking
And
them
the-
off.
my
and the
God.
ump at home is standing there on the other side of the fence, just staring at Ryan.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just like chirping the whole time, like, "Oh, you're a tough guy too, huh? Like, good for you." Like, I had a bat and everything. I'm like pointing my bat at them and everything. No, I wasn't doing
Oh,
that.
geez,
I
I
did
was
point
gonna
my bat, but that was later.
So anyways, so I think it was Shane. Shane was up next, and he looks down at me, and we're just waiting. We're just waiting for Ryan to get done doing what he's
I
doing.
can't believe they didn't just keep playing.
No,
Like they really were
they
just that they're
waited.
stuck to their guns.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Not until you're in the parking lot.
There wasn't another ball hit until I was like at the parking lot.
Yeah. So Shane takes a couple steps towards me, and he goes, "Man, all those Wild Hearts are built the same." I
Competitive
nodded and
competitive
laughed
and
said,
right.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude escalated it, not me. I was trying to teach him how to be a better umpire, and he took it the wrong way.
Help me,
But-
help you.
Yeah.
But
Help
anyways,
me, help you.
so you already brought up the funniest part, in my opinion. You sat next to your wife, and you slowly took your cleats off,
So slow, too.
and everybody,
just waited.
the other team spectators, the whole other team out in the outfield, staring at Ryan taking his cleats off and switching over to his shoes. And I think we started play as he was halfway to the parking lot.
Yeah, that's actually
Oh,
when it was,
my
yeah.
gosh.
And like their catcher like came over and he's like, "Hey, we're trying to play a game here." I'm like, "I'm not stopping you from playing a game. I'm changing my cleats." and I called him an old man too. And then he's like, he said something, "No, you could get out of here." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm taking my time just like you would be, old man." And then like, and then anyways, I get out of there
I
and
didn't hear you say that.
I'm
That's
on my
pretty
way
awesome.
out, and like the umpire, I kept chirping from the sidewalk as I'm walking out and stuff. The first baseman on the other team starts looking at me, and he's like smiling, and he goes, "Hey, what do you think?" And he holds his hands out like this, and he's like, got him 2 feet apart. He's like, "What do you think about that?" And I'm like, "That looks accurate." Yes. He's like, "I think the ump needed my view on that one." Like,
So
they knew. They knew.
At that point, why don't you just say, no, he was safe?
I don't expect him to do that. I don't care. I told the umpire. I told the umpire something like, "Look, he's awful. He's always been awful.
Oh yeah, he's been bad.
He's never been." So I was trying to be like, "Look, the perspective has to be the base runner is safe until you've confirmed out."
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That has to be your natural. And he just hated that I had anything to say.
Well, they hate our team.
So Todd asked, "Do you still get a Wally buck from Grandma, or does getting ejected cost you $1?" Yeah.
I think I lost my I don't know, my lifetime supply of Wally bucks from here on.
Yeah.
What would Grandma Walhart say to you?
Yeah, what would Grandma say?
Oh, she would have been chirping right there with me.
Yeah,
it was absurd.
She would have been able to see it too.
And that's the point. That's the point. There's no reason for him to escalate it to where he did. I'm sorry, I'm in the right on this one. And Trav is like, "Come on, get out of here!" And I'm like, "No, come on!" Like,
we also had a fan. I'm assuming that was there, that said passive aggressive champion. So you were the passive aggressive.
Was Carrie there?
Or did she just know that about you?
Yeah, maybe.
She just knows.
Yeah,
I think she just knows.
Well,
oh, geez.
I definitely tried to be a little.
Someone's going to tell your high school coach on you, too. He's not going to be happy with you.
I'm sure his high school coach has seen it all.
I think if anybody knows what I can turn into in the wrong situation, it's my high school baseball coach.
Yeah, that and your cousins.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, for the record, after hearing the story and the interaction with the other team that we're playing again this upcoming Thursday.
Oh, no way, really?
Oh, boy.
I highly recommend you at least missing out on the first game because they will know.
Yeah. Oh, they'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I'm okay with testing the waters if you guys are. You just got to keep in mind we are wearing DeHop's shirts because we're sponsored by them. So
yeah, I'm not worried about
that's
that.
up to you guys.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Me either.
Last thing. So on my way out, the storm. The storm was coming in.
Yeah.
And like the game should have been called a long time before that. There was thunder everywhere.
Lightning.
No, thunder before that.
I think
right?
they come
and some
yeah.
lightning.
I think they usually come together, right?
Well, first thunder and then there was lightning. Yeah. So, anyways, they stopped the game like 2 hitters after my whole debacle. So I'm leaving.
So you're still in the parking lot.
I'm leaving. Shane hits one of the fence. I think it hit the fence in the air. That's the last play. And then they call the game for lightning. And I'm in the parking lot, like packing up my stuff last minute. And I see them call again. I'm like, and they just called it for lightning. So I just like ruined everybody's experience.
The way they called the game was so unprofessional. Give me just a minute, okay? So we see the lightning, see the thunder. They pause the game, and right away, so everyone's asking from both sides, "Hey, we got 30 minutes, or what's going on?" They don't say a word. They go to third base. They go to second base. They start pulling bases. So I look at the guys, and I'm like, "Okay, well, we're going to leave. I mean, if we're going to wait 30 minutes, just leave the bases out there."
Yeah, we had like 15 minutes
They
left.
already made the decision, so they pulled the bases, and we're still waiting to hear an answer. And the younger guy goes, "Well, listen, you have 30 minutes to wait, and game time, the end of game, is 26 minutes out, so it's going to put you at the end of game." And that's what he ended with. And me and Trav are going, "What is okay, so just say the game is over for right now." And he goes, "The game's not over. It's postponed," yelling at us from the field.
Jeez.
Wait, so is the first game on Thursday the makeup for that?
No, I think it's the second game.
Okay. Oh,
think.
no. So there's going to be like an inning left to play?
No, we're restarting it.
No
Even
way.
though we were up 11-1.
No way.
Yeah,
We're not restarting the game.
Yeah. Technically, they tried to make us forfeit the game because of the stuff, but
no way.
Yeah, Trav talked her out of it.
Unbelievable. I'm telling you, that was not me. That was him.
11-1 lead too.
We're not restarting.
That's what they're telling me. Huh?
That is no.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
All right.
I would love to play a full game, and I didn't miss
funniest ending. I just got to get this out there. Funniest ending. The umpire is staring me down after they called the game. He's at second base pulling the second base bag, and he's looking at me, and he just stops, and he's staring at me.
Like mid picking up the second base.
And I've got my bat, and I'm out in there, and I'm like pointing my bat at him, and I'm like waving, pointing my bat, waiting, and I'm pointing right at him. And then I get in the truck. He's still staring at me. Jillian, my wife, is just like, "What is this guy's deal?" Like, he is so into you. Like he just won't drop this. And I roll down my window and I'm waving and pointing, waving the whole way out. Like this dude did not do a thing except just like wait for me to leave the entire premises.
Unbelievable.
Man, I would hate for my kids to be his grandkids because that dude is miserable on the inside.
He's probably a really nice guy off the
I doubt it. That's what I'm saying. I doubt it. I just judged him big time just on this one occurrence and every other save call he's ever made in his life. But based on that, I don't think so.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's my friend Ryan.
All right, I'm done.
Wait, Daniel Norris is a Tiger again?
What?
Daniel Norris is a Tiger again.
Did they just sign him?
They must have, and he's in AAA now. I don't know how that happened. But let's get into what we're drinking tonight. You guys good with that?
Sorry for taking
No,
forever.
that's good. Michael, we're not going to learn anything about you this week because we learned a lot about Ryan.
That's
is that right?
fine.
Is that good?
Sure.
All right.
Ooh, I did go to the beach.
Yeah, we should talk about
darn it.
that. We should talk about that.
I randomly went to the beach.
Okay. On one hand,
so upset.
I'm so happy for you. On the other hand, I am so sad for you. So, all right, we might have to cut a whole topic because this is just good stuff. This is exactly what we got to talk about, though. But
God.
okay, so start from scratch. A week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Mike had texted me and goes, "Hey, Michigan's going to be in Grand Haven." I was like, "Oh yeah, I saw the article. Cool. Like it's going to be on whatever it was on Saturday, right?"
Yeah. Yep.
And you're like, we should try to go. I'm like, well, I'm gonna be camping, but yeah, I mean, otherwise I would, and it'd be fun. But pick it up from there. So Mike goes to Grand Haven.
Well, I reached out to a handful of players on the Instagram account and asked if they'd be willing to spend 5-10 minutes doing an interview on the beach.
Oh yeah.
And didn't hear back from any of them. Thought it was kind of weird.
Well, you heard back from all of them, but they politely ignored or said no, right? That's what I remember. But this is your story.
Sure.
They all responded.
So they respond, and I go out to Grand Haven, get to where they're supposed to be, which is pretty close to a restaurant out there, and I'm like, man, I think I missed them. I brought my family up there, and I figured, I would do a couple of interviews at that point, and the kids would just play on the beach, and at that point, I see a random guy who is clearly not on the team, clearly a dad, with the Michigan jersey. I go up to him and just start making small talk, like, "Hey,
go blue,
go blue."
First off.
Did I miss out on the team here? I mean, they're on the move. They're going across the state, right? They're stopping at the Capitol. They're stopping at Arcadia Bluffs. They're doing all these really cool stops, doing some really cool community-based things, and still having some fun along the way. And he goes, "No, man." He goes, "They're up in Muskegon." And I'm like, "What?" And if any of you know, Muskegon is about, 15, 20 minutes north of Grand Haven.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, man, really? How did I get that messed up?" And I go look at my phone, and I get a text from Ryan. He goes, "Dude, I'm at the deck right now." And I'm like, "That's cool." And he goes, "And the whole Michigan team's here."
It's the weirdest
And I'm like,
thing.
"Are you kidding me?" And I'm here in Grand Haven with my family and no Michigan players. And there's like a bunch of people wearing Michigan gear because they kind of got the same idea, right? And I'm like, dang nabbit. I look at my wife and she goes, "Don't even think about it."
Right?
And
Pack 'em
I'm like, "But honey," she goes, "Honey, we just got here. We spent 15 minutes trying to find a parking spot. We're not leaving." And I'm like,
So this is shortly after you got there.
"Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got this all figured out real quick." And then I saw Ryan's text. I'm like, "Oh, Ryan's having the time of his life. He's eating good food in a great atmosphere."
Oh yeah, the deck is
He's
great.
just like people watching the entire Michigan football team. And I'm like, I missed out. I really missed out. This sucks.
Oh yeah, I was
And I'm
watching
like,
him
I'm
play
so happy
beach
for
volleyball.
I'm like, I'm so happy for
No
you,
shirts.
Ryan.
No shirts yet. Bags, frisbee, football, like all of them.
So-
JJ.
I was gonna say, let's bump over to
Yeah,
him.
Ryan, you text the group. You're like, "Dude, I just saw Jim Harbaugh,
yeah.
and my daughter's pumped about a monarch butterfly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're eating our food at the deck, and I'm like, I can see Jim kind of far away, or down at the beach. He's like signing autographs and like taking some pictures with fans. He's wearing his khaki long pants. It's super hot, but he's wearing his long khaki pants and everything, with tennis shoes and everything. And he's on his way. Comes back, walks right by us. Like Jillian got up near the same time, so she's like standing next to him for a while. He walks right by us, and I'm like, I'm people watching. I don't get like starstruck very often, and I really wasn't starstruck. But around that kind of an atmosphere, I'm definitely looking around. I'm definitely like paying attention to what everybody's doing.
Oh yeah.
And so Jim walks by. At the same time, Cece, my daughter's just like blown away. She's like, "Oh my goodness! I just saw a monarch butterfly." It was the perfect timing as Jim Harbaugh's walking by.
You probably won't remember that.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, and it was perfect.
That's so fun. So my one question that I have for you is, who was J.J. McCarthy partners with in bags?
Donovan Edwards.
Was he really?
Yeah.
That is his buddy.
Yeah,
They are like glue, dude.
They were up there for a while, so I have a feeling they were doing well. JJ's got the flat spin throw
so he knows
to
what
it,
he's doing.
so we know. Yeah, it's a professional move for sure.
Yeah.
Or at least an experienced move. And then
Professional.
yeah,
I mean, he's a NIL professional.
the other guys that I saw, including Donovan Edwards, they were more of actually the way I do it is just
throw.
just toss.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Try
what-
to keep
yeah.
it flat and everything, but I
Yeah.
just toss it straight.
Yep.
Okay. Did anyone surprise you with their physicality? Was someone bigger or smaller than what you thought?
Jim Harbaugh is probably a little taller than you thought, right?
He's pretty tall.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, he is though. I mean, he's 6 whatever.
Yeah.
What surprised me actually is like these guys are like men. They are
Really?
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I told Jillian, I'm just like, can you imagine like trying to tackle one of those guys
Yeah,
or be on the same field where you're being like
Trying to
with
get
physical
tackled?
contact? Yeah, with these guys, because across the board, even the big linemen, like you could tell who the linemen were, right?
Yeah.
But you could also see some of those tight ends that are shredded. You could see the defensive ends that are shredded. You could
Yeah.
see the linebackers that just have muscles on top of muscles and are shredded. I mean, like these guys are legit, and a lot of them look like NFL type bodies already.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it
Such a
was
cool
cool.
and very sad story. I feel
It was-
I do
it was
feel
so
really bad
random.
for you.
Also,
and Andrea, like
my
I told her,
11-year wedding anniversary.
Oh,
That's why
really?
we were there. Yeah,
That's why they were there too. Is that true? That's why they went.
That's
to
why they
Muskegon.
went there to
Yeah,
celebrate
to
ours.
Celebrate your guys'.
Man, that's really nice.
deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim answers my DMs. I don't know about you, but
No, but it was just. I was telling Andrea this story, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool!" But I feel so bad for Micah. And like, she goes, "And Ryan really doesn't care, and Micah's so like wanted this so badly." Like,
yeah,
it
I
was
got
just,
no
like,
pictures.
It was just like one of those like
I
so
asked him
cool,
too.
but it feels so bad.
Mike is like, take pictures,
like-
and I told Joe, I'm like, yeah, I
Like-
probably won't.
Like a picture? He's like, yeah, no pictures. I'm like, did you ask him anything? He's like, no.
Did you get a picture of the other Michigan fan that was disappointed or no?
No, I just went and sat down next to him. I was sitting close.
Oh,
That's
I was
awesome.
gawking here and there. I was
So
watching.
good, so good. I don't know what segment we're cutting yet, but maybe we'll just zoom
Hold
through
on, one more.
yeah.
Hold on, hold on,
No,
hold on.
no.
Hold on.
What?
Yeah, that was only Saturday.
Who was Cade hanging out with?
He was floating.
Okay, all right, move on.
Okay.
Professional.
I wanted to ask.
Professional
I needed
It's
to know.
interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, he was floating for sure.
Before we get into our wait, we actually had to introduce our beers. Sorry.
Man, one down already.
Yeah, I know. I'm 1.5
Jeez.
in already here. This isn't going well.
An hour and a half in.
Uh,
Only 30 minutes. We're doing all right.
yeah,
fine.
we're doing fine. People just need to cool it. Jarrett's giving us a hard time. Your
What's
introduction
typical?
topics tonight will last longer than the episodes, but love the stories. Classic. All right, appreciate it, man. Carrie, real quick, is drinking not passive aggressive champion. Where's she drinking? From
Oh.
Archival Brewing.
The kids are in the water.
Fritz's Folly.
Oh yeah, that.
Nice.
So good stuff.
I think Jared of all people probably can appreciate when you have a good story to tell.
Right.
You tell it.
Yeah,
Right.
podcasters know what they're
Absolutely.
doing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess this is our opportunity. We're very, very rarely have good stories. So when we have it, we might as well.
That's true. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
We are some of the most boring podcasters of all time when it comes to our personal lives.
I've never met a more boring podcaster than me.
we just like, hey, let's talk sports and hopefully there's something to talk about.
Yeah.
Now we actually have something fun to talk about that happened in our lives, and people are complaining. So that's great. No, but what are we drinking? We're drinking from Atwater Brewing Company, obviously, or Atwater Brewery, I should say. So they have obviously the Detroit location. They have a Grand Rapids location, but we're drinking Detroit City Juice. It's a hazy IPA. It is 6.3% alcohol by volume. It is 12 ounces like most beers, but it's hazy, and it's got like I actually took a picture of the description here.
12 ounces.
I just read, man. You know me. Put it in front of me, I'm going to read. Good thing we don't have teleprompters.
It is a can.
So like, people give Biden a hard time for reading a teleprompter, but if
Okay.
I had one in front of me, I'd have a really hard time with that, too. I would just read whatever it says, too. But this is what they describe on their website. So they say, who's got the juice? We do. Detroit City Juice is Atwater's take on hazy, with an explosion of orange and grapefruit combined with bright citric cascade and Zythos hops. Have you ever heard of Zythos hops? Because I have not.
What if Badugo's
this
yard here?
beer delivers its name. The name derives from Prohibition slang for drink or water, and will have everyone in Detroit asking, where's the juice? So the juice, I'm assuming, means
The juice is loose.
the juice is loose, and that means Prohibition, I think, like when they would just call it juice, is my guess.
I'm thinking it's got some juice in it. It's a juicy IPA.
It is a juice, yeah. I mean,
For sure.
I can taste the, what was it, grapefruit? Is that what I said? Did I say grapefruit? That's
I don't
all.
know, man.
I
You were
heard
just reading.
orange.
Yeah. Yep.
Orange and grapefruit. I can taste the grapefruit. The orange, a little subtle, but I get it on the back end a little bit. What do you think so far?
This is good.
I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I like this.
Smooth.
Now I know what
For-
to get when I go
When
there.
you go there,
because-
right?
Yeah.
I seriously know so little about Atwater. I've been there, I think, one time. And that was on the Pub Peddler, like 12 years ago or whatever it was,
Yep.
when you turned 30.
Wow.
Um,
wow.
No, how long was
Congrats
Wow.
on being 42.
it? It was a long time ago,
Sheesh.
though. It really was. Sorry, I'm not trying to call you old.
Oh, that's all right.
But that was, that's what we're drinking, and we should probably get into our grades here now that we've drank this whole thing and had a full episode. But no,
We're gonna forget by the end.
Before we jump into our DeHop's Beer Flight segment, I want to remind everyone that DeHop's Brewing Company and Cafe is serving incredible food and pouring some of the best craft beers in West Michigan. Chef Dan's food menu and head brewer Ben's rotating taps, wine and ciders. Wine and ciders make DeHop's perfect for whatever you have going on, from late night drinks with friends, dinner with a family, and everything in between. I changed stuff up. The Ben and Dan duo is putting a ton of their time and
favorite
energy
read.
at making DeHop's a staple in the West Michigan restaurant community that we highly recommend to our friends and listeners. They have Taco Tuesday, Stein Night Wednesday, Thursday, any beer and burger for $15, along with some unbelievable specials on Fridays and Saturdays. We highly recommend following them on Instagram and Facebook, where they share their weekly specials and some incredible food and beer pictures that will make your mouth water, along with this read. DeHop's is the official brewery of State of My Sports for 2022, and if you mention State of My Sports, you'll get a discount off your first beer, unless you have an a-hole server that says they don't know
Excuse
what
me?
that is. That's a totally different story. But
Whoa.
DeHop's Beer Flight segment.
Yeah, I feel like this is
Yeah.
like story time. We should.
No, I wasn't.
probably
It's not my story to tell.
At the end of the read, I heard you go,
Yeah. My mouth was watering just
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right, I do want to move through these as quick as possible.
let's do it.
Ryan, I picked your flight segment for you because you don't really ever pick yours.
You
and
didn't
I
ask
usually
me.
do that. Well, I figured I'd just keep the tradition alive and pick it out for you. But Ken Rosenthal came out with a tweet today, breaking news around, what was it, 3 o'clock? Something around there.
Yeah.
Tarek Skubal open for business. Or the Tigers are open for business regarding Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts on that. Like,
Yeah, we got into it a little bit over text today. I just think we have 4 more years of control on Tarek Skubal. Why would you give up on him right now? This was a year that we were supposed to have a little bit of an upstart or see the results a little bit more on the field than in previous years. We were hoping to be around 500, maybe even above. Some people were even hoping for like a playoff push. Personally, I thought it was a little bit too quick. But this is a guy. This is one of the main reasons in the rotation why we would be able to get there. This is a young, talented, left-handed, tall pitcher who's got really good stuff, really good analytics with his, spin rates and everything else. People don't hit him very hard. I know he's gone through a funk as of a little bit, recently, but he started off the year as a true legit number one. There was one point in the season, I think at the end of May, when he was actually 1 or 2 in everybody's Cy Young award race for the first couple of months in the American League. Like, he had that good of a start of the season. This is not somebody that I feel like we need to get rid of right now, because what are you going to get in the end? Like, the Tigers right now I feel like are in a very dangerous spot where we could just be in this never-ending cycle of no man's land prospect to trade for assets. And I still feel like Tarek Skubal is the prospect of we don't know what he could turn into yet. And also we don't know what he looks like when he's pitching well, paired up with Casey Mize in a rotation, paired up with Matt Manning in a rotation, paired up with Alex Vallejo in a rotation with all those guys. Like, that's the group. That's the core that I want to continue to build around with this team. And when they're ready to compete, then we start selling some of the younger assets and go get the guys that we need.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or have a younger guy to replace him with.
Exactly.
And I wonder if that's what they're trying to go with, is they feel like, let's say, what is his name? Derek Hill. The other guy, I mean, there's so many young, like crazy young pitchers that we weren't expecting to be here at this point. I can't think of them. Who's the... Bo Brisky.
Yeah.
It's like, if this is true, if they actually are open for business, if they are ready to move on, they feel like they see something with those guys. They're like, hey, no, they can be the extra pieces. And look, I agree with you. I don't think giving up on Tarek Skubal or moving on from him is the right decision. But also, if we want to be part of this trade deadline and maybe get more, it feels like he's the only opportunity, right?
Okay, and that is the panic move.
And if you can package him with a throwaway, like, I don't want to say Fulmer's necessarily a full throwaway, but like you can get some high end if you can say those two guys. You're getting a starter, legit starter, and a legit bullpen arm. Give us 1, 2, and 3 of your prospects. If it comes into something like that, then it's like, okay, I understand it. But again, I'm just playing devil's advocate because I agree. I think you hold on to Skubal unless you're getting unless it's a buy situation, right? Like, that's where we're at, is unless we're buying, you don't get rid of any guys that you think could be part of the core, because you want as many pieces as possible when you are ready to buy.
Yes.
That's when the quantity can be get turned into quality. You're not going to turn quality into quantity necessarily nearly enough with a guy like Tarek Skubal. Best case scenario, get Tarek Skubal in a trade. What good does that do? He's only 25
You're just
years
old. Replace him, yeah.
He's only 25 years old. You got control over him. It seems like a very stupid thing. Seems like a very Avila thing.
It's reactionary.
It is reactionary.
It's reactionary to an underwhelming season, even though there's a lot of reasons why you could point to why it's underwhelming. Yeah. And I get it. Our hitters are not performing the way they should. But the first few months of the season, the way our pitching staff pitched, we were legit top 3 with our bullpen.
Yeah.
MLB wide.
With a lot of work on them too.
Yeah, with a lot of work, a lot of innings,
yeah.
like leading in innings because of the work that the starting pitchers did not do because of injury. So with that and the combination of we have 4 years left on this pitcher.
Yeah, there's no reason.
He's not even at the ceiling of what we can get a return for him. So why would we consider moving him right now when somebody might look at this and say this is a potential Cy Young candidate in 2 years? Now's the time to buy him because he's going to be – this is the cheapest he'll be.
But this is what Al Avila does. This is his M.O.
This would be his worst move out of all of them. I'm pissed about the return that he got for
J.D. Martinez.
J.D. Martinez.
Terrible.
I still don't think what he got from Justin Verlander has panned out. Not necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
In the moment, it was a decent trade, but it just didn't pan out. But this would be by far the dumbest one of them all. And the fact that he's the one that gets to make this decision is a huge issue. Are we really going to let this guy rebuild the rebuild that was rebuilding something?
Yeah.
Like, this is shot 3 at a rebuild. He's going into year 8. Like,
this is a 9th round draft pick that we lucked out on for being as successful and capable as he is.
Yeah.
He's a big league starter. That's what he is. And he's a top 3 guy on good clubs.
Yeah.
So we lucked out to get this
And
guy.
he's only getting better, too.
Keep him as part of the core.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
keep
agree.
him as part of the core. Pair him up when Casey Mize is healthy. Pair him up with Matt Manning when he's healthy, and hope that Matt Manning can turn into Tarek Skubal.
Yep. Sitting out this trade deadline is better than moving him just for reaction.
But not only that, he's left-handed. So now you also are going to trade a guy who's left-handed mixed with a sea of righties.
Yeah. When lefties learn how to pitch in this league, they become very dominant very quickly. You see that with Chris Sale. He was very good. Everybody knew he was very good. Missing. All of a sudden it clicked and was completely dominant. Lights out for a couple years. Yeah, the injuries came in and it's been rough for him. But that's the type of guy that Tarek Skubal could become, I feel like.
So, I mean, it's easy to tell at this point. I'm completely against it. I don't want them to trade him. If they get a return that is too good to pass up, okay, we'll take a look at it. And maybe this is him just saying, we're listening to offers. Nothing's off the table. If I'm a GM, I would always be in that scenario. Why would you ever stop listening to offers?
And he's so dumb. Like, he's one of the worst at holding the cards close to the vest. He's so bad at it.
He doesn't.
Why are you even saying this? It makes no sense. Now Tarek Skubal is like, wait, what? I'm 25 years old, under team control for another 3-4 years, and I'm on the trade block? Like, what in the world is this organization? AJ Hinch is watching this. What in the world is going on in this organization?
Yeah, this is in 2 years. We should be having a conversation
embarrassing.
whether or not we extend him to a longer-term deal.
Exactly.
Or trade him for assets.
Yep.
A guy like Noah Syndergaard on the Angels, that's a guy that you flip and turn around because he's playing well, but your team is not ready to compete.
Yeah.
So you flip him because he's only on a 1 to 2 year deal.
Exactly.
That's what you do. Everybody in the world knows that. You don't flip your 25-year-old prospect, or like the Nationals are trying to get something out of what's his name, Soto, because they know they're not going to keep him long term, and he's going to play the free agent market, and they're not going to be able to compete. Okay, I get that too. We have 4 years of control. This is not a similar situation to any of those.
Yep, I agree.
4 years.
Stupid. It would be absolutely awful. Micah, you want to talk about UCLA?
Absolutely.
All right, what's going on there?
Well, welcome to the game, UCLA, USC. But our favorite governor has something to say about it. Gavin Newsom. So he came out with this statement right here. So he said that UCLA must clearly explain to the public how this deal will improve the experience for all its student athletes, and will honor its century-older partnership with UC Berkeley, and will preserve the histories, rivalries, and traditions that enrich our communities.
And right, it says.
I think
it might
probably
be right.
enrich our communities.
Yeah, it might be right.
So,
Right.
so he's demanding an explanation, which is fine, but I think he's subtly demanding more. He's subtly demanding that they retract going to the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And it feels like almost like he's got something privately held rather than his ego as a governor. I feel like he's got money on the inside for his afterlife after governing the state.
What's
it
with
just
the UC
feels
Berkeley?
weird.
What's with the UC Berkeley reference?
I'm not sure what that is, to be honest with you. But I'm also wondering, does he, like, being they're probably a public school.
Right, I get it.
So is that why? Like, but what does it matter to him? Like, the school's still going to be public. It does, like, nothing. I guess I don't understand why he's making a big deal about it. Would Whitmer make a big deal about it? Would our governor say something if Western Michigan jumped ship to somewhere else and left the MAC? Or if Michigan State left Big Ten, is that a thing for them to worry about?
Well, the only thing I can think of is revenue. If they're going to be losing out on rivalries, let's say between like Stanford and UCLA or Stanford and USC,
Okay.
But what they're not missing out on is the Big Ten following that's going to be driven into their state as they host those home games.
Yeah, and what they're also people are going to go there. They're going to put that on their calendar every single year. That is going to be the destination for their Big Ten games.
That's their week.
Yeah.
When
vacation.
Michigan goes to California, people are going to be like, we're going to California.
I mean, like I
famous.
would love to do that. Why not? Schedule a vacation in Southern California where you go to a game and then you do some other stuff the rest of the week.
And see, I thought about the revenue thing too. I would only assume that the revenue is going to increase. Becoming a part of the Big Ten.
Yeah, what are they saying? Like 150 to 200 million per school.
It's going to be highly
when
lucrative.
This new deal
it's going to be incredible, and not to mention, if the Big Ten happens to reel in Stanford and Notre Dame, you don't know. If that happens, don't you and everyone else want to be a part of what the Big Ten is doing? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I just don't know why he's making it political. It's very odd, but.
It's ridiculous.
It is, and we're gonna get into more stupid headlines. Some stupid, some great headlines. Moving forward here in a future segment, but I did want to talk a little bit about Kyler Murray's new contract, $230 million with the Arizona Cardinals. Contract mandates 4 hours of weekly film study. Sources say. So this is what
that's weird.
This is what I pulled from an article. According to the contract, Murray will need to study material provided to him by the club in order to prepare for the club's next upcoming game. That's a quote. Murray will receive credit for completing his film study, according to the contract. However, the addendum states the time that Murray spends in mandatory meetings studying does not count, and that Murray also won't receive credit if he does not personally study the provided material in good faith.
So what that tells me is he isn't doing his homework on a weekly basis during the season.
Why give him a contract then if you don't trust this guy to do his job?
That's how messed up the market is, right?
It is so weird. It is so weird.
What is that freaking credit?
I don't know what the credit means.
What does that mean? Credit.
I have no idea.
He will credit means money. Like he will receive his money if he spends 4 hours a week.
It blew my mind, and
4 hours.
I
you
was
hear about
laughing.
Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, like studying film.
Yeah,
like after everybody leaves and everything, and they're like 4. Just give us 4 for the week.
Just please 4.
Just
for
one,
a week.
One
That's
a day.
Not even an
just
hour
one,
a
just
day.
one a day, and then we'll travel on the 5th.
Yeah, do whatever you want on that hour flight. Like you don't even use don't use it then. Like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe that that's a thing. It blew my mind, and I was seriously laughing when that report came out, and people were talking about it on the radio. I was just like, this is unbelievable. Like, I hope that this isn't a new thing, that people are going to start keeping track of who's watching, who's not, and they're like, the fact that that has to be in a contract is very, very concerning. And you go back to the Lions game.
Oh, it's telling.
And it's like, Lions beat them, right?
Yeah.
And you got to wonder. You know, and people were talking about Murray coming to the Lions, like, trade for him, go get him. He's a great player to have. No, like, don't.
He's an exceptional talent.
Oh my gosh,
he is exceptionally talented, but this is weird. This is a clause in there that
it's embarrassing.
As a quarterback of a franchise in the NFL, how can you, like, that they're investing this much money in? How are you not taking your job that seriously? Right. But is this also an out where, like, words that they use, like, in good, provided that they study the material in good faith?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Like, so does that mean that it's subjective now, and now he can be blamed for things even though maybe he's not at fault or something?
It feels like
does
a
it give the
disaster
Cardinals
waiting
an
to
out?
happen. It feels like it is, and it feels like as soon as they pull the plug on Kingsbury, that's when he's going to be gone too. And it's just, I don't know. It feels like a relationship ready to just blow up in your face.
Tigers are making a little push here. Candy's been hot lately.
Yeah, he's got 3 home runs in the last 2 days, so keep an eye on that.
Drinking craft beer, having fun, and talking sports in the state of Michigan. You're listening to State of My Sports.
Phone is not working here, so I'm just going to go on myself here. Sorry. What are we going to talk about next, Ryan?
You want me to take over?
Yeah, take over for a second.
You're talking to the guy who didn't review the show sheet before we started. Well, let's get into the Lions training camp. and start talking about that. What do you think, Micah?
Do it.
Yeah, does that sound good to you guys?
So the team placed defensive lineman Romeo Aquara, cornerback Jerry Jacobs, and rookie defensive lineman Josh Pascal on the physically unable to perform list, and rookie wide receiver Jamison Williams and linebacker Natrez Patrick. Did I say that right? Natrez?
Yeah, I think
Sounds
so.
good.
Natrez Patrick were placed on the non-football injury list.
Yeah, so we want to just kind of go over the Lions and give almost like what we typically do for a season preview of the Lions team right now. We're going to do that jumping into the training camp,
Yeah,
right?
so one thing to save on time, I do want to get rid of reception leader, if that's all right with you. Because I want to keep it focused on kind of the training camp side, if we can. And I shouldn't have put that in there. But one thing I want to start out with, who do you think the surprise rookie is going to be coming out of camp here? Do you have anybody in mind? Because I'm going to start, and then it can be yours if you want, but I think Malcolm Rodriguez is a very interesting one. So the linebacker, I think they drafted him in the fifth round. Fifth round, is that correct?
I think it's even later. I think
Was
sixth,
it later
maybe.
than that?
Yeah.
Okay. But basically,
out of, Oklahoma State.
okay. Yeah, that sounds right. But I just feel like with the thin, high-end talent at linebacker, he's the type of guy, and it already sounds like there's whispers that people really like him, and he's above what they even expected as it was. And obviously, rookie camp is one thing. But here we are, like we're sitting here, thin at linebacker, looking for playmakers. A guy that's older, I think he's like 24, a 24-year-old rookie. So he's older, more mature than like a normal rookie. And here we are, like, I don't know. It just feels like it's set up. They're already setting up the opportunity for him to not only make the team, which I think is impressive for a 5th to 6th round pick, whatever he ended up, but to potentially become a starter. I think he's like slated second in the what linebacker position do they have? That's SLB. So is that strong linebackers?
Strong side, yeah.
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 Behind Chris Board. And I just feel like that's what the depth chart says currently. They're setting it up for him to maybe have a starting role, but not necessarily, like, they're not going to give him the starting role, but they're going to give him an opportunity to get some downs and some crucial downs and have the opportunity to make plays. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like by the end of training camp preseason, he's the one that people are going to be looking at. I think there was a running back that people were talking about. It seems like there's always a running back people are talking about out of camp and preseason, but it just feels like it's already setting up that he's going to be the one that people are talking about. He's going to be the one that people are going to be like, why isn't he getting time? Why isn't he doing this? If he's not, you know what I mean? I just feel like out of camp, this is the one that I'm interested to see. Is there another rookie that kind of stands out to you that could kind of fit that mold?
Yeah, I'm looking at James Mitchell, tight end. This is a tight end that we drafted, I believe, in the 5th round, one round ahead of Malcolm Rodriguez. We didn't get to see what he really was in college. A lot of scouts had him as the number 1 most talented tight end in college football, and that was a blend between pass receiver and also blocker and just kind of do it all, pick your poison type of athlete. 6'3", not huge, but extremely strong, very, very athletic, can move and run and block and do everything a tight end needs to do.
Is he healthy? That's one thing that I was interested about that heading into camp, because he tore his ACL. I want to say it was at the beginning of the season, right? Wasn't
Yeah,
it
it was
week
at the
1 or
beginning.
week 2?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why he fell to where he did, people believe. Is that a concern that he might not even get the chance to shine here in camp?
No, you're right, and maybe that's more geared towards my expectation of him getting some time and run on in the middle of the season.
Okay.
Like more like the impact that you might see, like maybe starting week 4 to 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I really don't believe in Brock Wright. I don't think he's that great of a tight end. He doesn't block super well, but he's also not a great route runner either.
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking for another difference maker behind T.J. Hawkinson, especially if there's some sort of injury concern, James Mitchell has an opportunity to step up.
Do you think Devin Funchess could fall into that, or is he?
He could.
He's a very interesting one to me. That was an interesting signing.
Yeah, that's definitely just like a shot in the dark. They believe in the overall talent and ability of this guy, and maybe they think he hasn't been given the opportunity in the right setting.
Okay.
And we all know that football is definitely about that, about the people around you, the opportunities you're given, the design of the offense. That is a big part in the success of positions like tight end or wide receiver where you're relying on a play being run to you. We saw that with, I mean, like Amon-Ra St. Brown last year. People halfway through the season were giving this guy crap for not being a very good wide receiver. Like, I don't know if everybody remembers that, but people saying that
we were very disappointed.
We threw the pick away and he wasn't effective enough. And then he goes on a tear. Why? Because he was part of the offense.
Mm-hmm.
They drew plays up for him, and he executed the plays as written.
In tight end's a position that is even harder to do that because you usually have, I mean, some people run 2 tight ends, but you have your one that it's designed to go after. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was with the Packers, right?
Right.
And then I don't remember all that he went. I feel like it was the Steelers maybe. Or maybe, I don't know. I guess I don't know where all he's been. But when you have Tunyon in the way, and other tight ends that I think the Packers have had that have been good, obviously Funchess isn't going to be the one that you design things around. It's going to be Tunyon. It's going to be he led tight ends in touchdowns, right?
Respectively, though, we had him signed in as a wideout.
Okay.
So that's where
that's even harder for him to break into the right.
No. So what I saw last year at training camp through him, he can play anywheres from tight end all the way through the couple different wideout positions. He's talented. He's still got great athleticism. He still has great size. He's huge. He's got a massive wingspan.
Yeah.
The guy can play anywheres on that outside right there.
I just feel like he's probably not athletic enough to become a wide receiver in this league, especially with the way that the wide receivers are getting even more athletic. And it's not necessarily it's not necessarily about the length and size anymore. And that's where I feel like if he's given a tight end opportunity, like he might still be able to find a way in this league. Now, look, we have Hawkinson. We're always going to design plays around Hawkinson. If a tight end's getting the ball, it's going to be Hawkinson. It's going to be Wright when healthy. All of those things.
But in the special package, you put him out there with Hawkinson with all of your other your weapons out there. That's a big problem. Mm-hmm. You have a guy with size out there. I understand what you're saying is you're not going to just send someone like him out there just on a physicality basis.
Yeah.
And expect something magical to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, but again,
it's a special package type of guy you send out there with that scheme in mind.
And we had a lot of success last year in adding another offensive lineman in our running game, adding 2 tight end sets, and I've heard a lot of buzz about the potential for 2 tight end sets going into not only training camp but going into the preseason and testing the waters in that area.
Yeah, I mean, ideally that's what we do, but we didn't have an opportunity to do that last year. That's why they would be the extra offensive lineman, right? Because we would rather bring in 2 tight ends. But if we're not getting good blocking out of Hawkinson, like I think people were not happy about last year, I somewhat disagree. I thought he did a decent job when he was healthy. But if you don't have tight ends that can block, that's when you bring in that extra offensive lineman. So it becomes blocking is the key with the 2 tight end set, right?
Yeah.
So
Hutchinson's an obvious pick for that too.
Yeah.
The monster.
But that's not really a surprise though.
No, it's kind of a
one thing that I am really excited to watch. Or no, I'll save that later because I have that on the sheet. But I do have a 2 to 3 year 2 or 3 year second or third year guy that you think is going to break out in training camp in preseason that people are going to be really, really excited about.
I love the guy you have here. So I
want
you to start.
No, I would rather you go with it. You just go with it, and we'll just run with that.
Yeah, Levi Onwuzurike, second round pick last year. This is a guy that Brad Holmes believed could be a difference maker on the inside, and so he wanted to build the core of this team from the inside out. So they invested in the offensive lineman, and then the first defensive lineman that he took was a tackle that had the ability to rush the passer, be violent with his hands, and get to the quarterback and make a difference, shoot gaps. And I believe, our defense is moving from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3. That's allowing some of these types of guys like Levi to shoot the gap a little bit more, make a difference based on his athleticism, his quickness, his hand movement. He's going to be allowed to do what he does best.
And for the people that don't know, he is a interior defensive lineman that will get to the quarterback. He was an end/tackle that they thought would be fit better with a tackle with his extra size. Now, I've also heard that he's lost a lot of weight, gotten into more athleticism shape is what I'm hearing. I don't know if that hurts the fact that hurts him in the
in the strength area or something.
Yeah, or something like that. It doesn't sound like they're
It's not
concerned
his-
about it.
I
Yeah,
think
it's not
that's what
his
you want to
MO.
see.
More athleticism
Absolutely.
inside. It seems like it's the right way to go. And look, I'm not going to compare him to Aaron Donald, but that's what we're trying to make him, is a potential Aaron Donald that causes so much mayhem in the middle. Maybe he's not the one getting the tackles,
makes
but
everybody
he
around
makes
him better.
everybody better. And he's going to make our DEs better. Now, I believe that they're hoping our defensive ends will make him better and maybe be able to be that Aaron Donald while he's putting up numbers too.
And
but
I don't care.
what's that?
I don't care where it comes from.
I don't care. Just get to the quarterback.
Yeah, you know what I
once.
mean? If Hutch is doing it and if Levi's doing it, if they're going back and forth, that's the recipe for success. Doing it at both areas. You never know where to throw the double team. That's exactly what offenses don't want to see.
Did you want to talk reception leaders, or was I right to move on from that?
Yeah, let's move on from
All
that
right,
one.
well, that can be a good one for our regular season preview, right?
I also think blanking on his name, middle linebacker from last year.
Derek Barnes?
Yeah, I think Derek Barnes, if I'm going to choose another opportunity for second or third year player breakout, I think Derek Barnes has an opportunity to command this defense and to be a difference maker on the inside. Now, I don't know. I have yet to see his athleticism and how fast he can play in space. But with a 4-3, it gives a little bit more of an opportunity for him to stick around there in the middle a little bit more and maybe not get exposed for his weaknesses. So I think we can hide him a little bit. Not that that's what you want, but he's exceptionally physical and matched up with the combination of linebackers they have. I think he's going to be all right.
So who is a surprise potential cut candidate for you? I had one. Haloti Vaitai, our right guard, but I heard he restructured his deal, and it seems like they're really happy with him, and I think that's a good thing. It's a great thing, actually, because if you can have Decker in left tackle, Penei Sewell at right tackle, Jonah Jackson, left guard, had a great year,
Oh, yeah.
Ragnow in the middle, and then a veteran like Vaitai, big old dude. Like, come on. Like, that is a big human.
Vaitai
And
had a
he
really
had a
good year.
very good year.
Yeah.
Against some very high-end talent. Like, obviously he didn't shut down Aaron Donald. Nobody can shut down Aaron Donald. But he did a really good job against them when they were lined up against each other.
Also, his run blocking, Vaitai is an elite run blocker.
He's very good at pulling, too.
Yeah,
I love
he
that
is.
side of him.
He is,
Yeah.
and he's huge. So
Big man.
You get in the way, and you get a running back that can just choose one side or the other. That makes a difference just right there, just being that big of a human. Underrated. I think he's a really good offensive lineman. I like that.
So I do have a couple. Unless do you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I was going to go with Alex Anzalone. And I know it's a weird one because they gave him a new deal. 1 year, I think it was a 1 year deal, right? And it was interesting, but it felt like it was already set up to be kind of the waiting game with him. It's like, yeah, we're going to bring him in so we're not deeply thin at linebacker. But like I brought up with Malcolm Rodriguez, we also have some other guys that can come in at linebacker and make some noise. And I don't think he's going to get cut, but I also could see him getting cut just for the fact that the way that the Lions treat him, the reason why they brought him back, the reason why they're paying him, and he's only $1.75 million cut candidate, so it's not going to like kill our cap by any means. It just feels like it was set up to be like, hey, come make this team better unless somebody's there to take it. So if someone like Malcolm Rodriguez comes up and is like, hey, I'm NFL ready, I can play. Derek Barnes has a huge step in the offseason and training camp and preseason that you can throw those guys to the wolves. You can cut a guy like Anzalone, and I feel like he's the type of player that they will be like, we're going to cut you because we think you're valuable enough to go play somewhere else. You know what I mean? It's a great problem to have if you cut a guy like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, do I expect it? No, but I just feel like that's the name to keep an eye on, because if linebackers can show their depth more than what all of us think they are, that's a guy that you can move on from. And again, like the way the Lions would be like, hey, we're going to cut you so you can go find a new job type thing to get that playing time.
They do that
to
a lot.
continue yourself to, yeah. You'll cut the third best linebacker because you think your fourth isn't that much worse and let this guy go play.
Yeah.
Let this guy show that he's still got a place in this league. It just seems like
It's like they do right by their players.
A decent match. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep, that's a good way to say it.
I would say mine for cut candidate would, I don't know how popular this is or not, but I would actually say Tim Boyle, backup quarterback.
That's actually that's a good point.
Second on the
So
depth
you think
chart.
Boyle over Blau would be cut?
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity for David Blau here because Tim Boyle just hasn't shown anything.
He was disappointing.
Yeah, and Blau I feel like at least has showed some spurts within the preseason, and being able to move the ball down the field and being exciting and move it and the way he can like run around. Tim Boyle to me is just like a flatliner. He doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. Like I get he's got a pretty strong arm and he's got like some characteristics that a starter might have, but I don't see his ability to process the field at all or make a difference or make a play on his own, make anything happen with an offense. I just didn't see it last year at all. So I think David Blau has an opportunity to take that backup position, and I really don't think there's a need to have three.
Yeah. In this league.
Well, in this
quarterback
with
you
this
only need
team.
two.
Yeah. So if we lose Jared Goff and we're down to our backup, okay, go sign some random guy. Like at this point, now we're thinking about getting the number 1 overall pick and what quarterback is next.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is not a lose situation. Like there's a win in here somewhere.
Huge.
So just hold on to 2.
Yep, I agree. Another one that I thought was interesting was the way that this wide receiver room is starting to develop. It became a logjam. Kind of like I talked about with the Red Wings in the forward room. Like it's being created into a logjam, and it was very thin. And now here you are. I mean, and it feels like Cephas or Benson will be cut. And there's probably another wide receiver name in there that will be cut as well. I didn't think – I just went with these two names because Cephas, I want to say, was a third-round pick that from the original or the previous regime.
Cephas was like a 5th-round pick, I think.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I thought he was earlier than that, so that's my bad. But it just seems like one of those guys will be cut. And obviously the Benson was traded for. We gave him Denver a 5th-round pick.
I think
Tom
Tom Kennedy might be on that list.
Yeah,
too.
I mean that's all possible. I just feel like one of those two guys will eventually be cut, and I'm curious of which one you'd be like okay with, because it feels like you wasted a draft pick or you wasted a trade and
a draft pick.
And the way I look at it is Cephas was the previous regime. Benson was the draft pick that this regime traded to bring in and has done absolutely nothing.
I was so disappointed in Trinity Benson last year.
Oh my gosh, it was embarrassing how bad he was.
But Quintez Cephas, I've at least seen something.
Yeah, and I thought last year before he got hurt, he showed some signs to being
stepped up.
I don't want to say a number 1. He looked way more athletic last year than he did in his rookie year, and he I just remember hating on him heading into last year because he looked so unathletic, even on his touchdown.
Just slow.
Like he just looked slow and lost. He looks lost. He doesn't look like an NFL wide receiver.
I think what Cephas
outside
does,
of looking like a wide receiver.
Well, I think what the difference might be too. Like we're looking at DJ Chark now. We're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds. None of these guys are like Cephas. So he's almost like adding a layer of depth to our wide receiver group that we don't have otherwise, which is more of like a solid route runner and a contested catch guy. That was an incredible catch.
Incredible catch.
How did he just do that for the first out in the bottom of the ninth inning?
That
down
sucks.
one
I
with the
know it
guy
was going to be a
first.
foul ball, but man, that's a free out right there.
That's a free out. Holy cow. Okay, sorry. I don't know where we
I just
left
want to
off.
watch this again.
That was
all
out.
hit like the fingers too.
Yeah.
The 4 fingers. Sorry, this is awful podcasting, but
That was a terrible dive too, but he was afraid of hitting the side.
Yeah.
He's gonna run into the side wall.
I just feel like one of those two guys are going to be gone. And then last little topic for the Lions, then I want to get into a little list here. Outside of our crazy football coach we have in Detroit, I have a feeling Hard Knocks is going to dip their toe in the storytelling of how bad this organization has been. I feel like we're all looking forward to getting in the inside look of this organization, and I feel like we're just going to be told a story of how brutal it has been. And you know what I mean? Like, it's all set up for them to just start talking same old lines. And I mean, you've heard Campbell, and sorry, I didn't introduce this next. Hard Knock storylines is what I wanted to get into. I think it starts in a couple weeks. But, like, what do you think the storylines will be is basically what I wanted to get at. I think the focus is going to be Dan Campbell. They're going to make him look to be a complete character, I feel like. And that's fine. I think he's going to kind of play into it because I feel like he's kind of playing that purposefully. But on the back end, he's very... I don't know. I think he's smarter than he's saying. And I was talking to one of my guys that I coach with in hockey, Blake, listener of the show. Thanks for listening, buddy. He was talking about how he's just like, he's probably smarter than what he puts out. But he's also like afraid of how dumb he might be too. And I feel like this is a game that Lions fans are playing with themselves with him. It's like, I don't know what to think. He can't be that. What's the word? Meatheady. And he has to be smart, right? Like it can't be airheaded, but I was going to be like meathead. Like
meatheads.
Meathead, like, I don't know. But then I was just thinking about it, and the way that he's already playing into the same old Lions and saying that they're adopting that mantra, it feels like that's going to be a huge story.
I don't think I'm not sure I agree with that at all, actually. I think that there's enough positive going on in the organization right now that they can have plenty of storylines to latch onto.
Yeah.
I think for the first time, we have involvement and engagement from the ownership. I think we have the support of a guy like Brad Holmes, from ownership, but also just allowing Brad Holmes to do what he does best, which is draft and create this roster and overhaul what we've been missing for a long time. We haven't seen this kind of
regime.
Yeah, like the way that he's keeping everybody involved. He's adding input. He's getting input and like collaborating with everybody around him. And I think that this is probably going to be a talking point with how the organization is being run lately. And I think the excitement and opportunities that these young guys have to change something. And so I think there really is excitement in the city over this team right now. Not expecting us to make the playoffs or make a big push right now, but we've appreciated how this rebuild has gone. We haven't rushed the process.
Yeah. I think by the end of Hard Knocks, the Lions will be one of the nation's favorite teams.
I think so too.
I really think that's going to happen.
I agree with you.
And it's going to kind of suck because it's going to be like, oh, the cute little Lions. I like the cute little Lions. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it's going to be. And I'm not going to like that, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of like it because people are going to talk about them.
Heck yeah, there's a storyline. I'm going to love it too.
It's going to be interesting.
We're going to get more highlights than we normally do.
Yeah,
right?
Mike, have you ever watched Hard Knocks? Because I personally haven't.
No, I don't watch Hard Knocks. I watched the one on Amazon.
I know, like I should love that. Like I should jump into it and like that's right up my alley of digging into the sports and like seeing a side that you'd never see.
Yeah, pay $5.99 a month for 3 months to like check this thing out. That like why don't we always do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just watch the stuff on Amazon. They have All or Nothing. It's like the same thing. They do sports all across. They do NFL. They do college. They do NHL.
I bet Lions will be All or Nothing next year. I really think this time next year people are going to be talking about the Lions. Not necessarily to win a Super Bowl by any means, but to make some noise and make a run, if not this year.
Oh, boy.
Boy. We just need a quarterback.
That's what we're getting into next is
some
QB tiers. So I found an article. It was NFL quarterback tiers of 2022. Mike Sando from The Athletic. So he broke down into 5 different tiers. What I want to do is read the tiers to you guys, and you tell me where you think people fit. And then we'll start with, I don't know where we're going to start yet, but Tier 1. A Tier 1 quarterback can carry his team each week. The team wins because of him. He expertly handles pure passing situations.
Gotta define it.
He has no real holes in his game.
So Patrick Mahomes.
Who all do you think fits in Tier 1?
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen.
I don't think Josh Allen's there yet.
Wait,
hold on. How many tiers are there?
There are 5 tiers.
Josh Allen's not there.
Yeah, he is. Tier 1.
No.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, Jarrett just commented his Tier 1 would be Mahomes, Brady, and Rodgers. If I told you there were
that's about where it is for me.
6
What?
in Tier 1.
They're going to say Russell Wilson. People love freaking Russell Wilson.
They do. I don't get it, but
Is he on there?
no. All right.
Oh,
So
man.
you were right with Aaron Rodgers,
Wait, hold on.
Mahomes, and
Is
Brady.
Stafford on that?
Okay, then they're gonna have to put Josh Allen in there then. If you
Josh
said
Allen's
6.
on there. And then there's 5 and 6.
Oh, that is the top 4 as well, right?
That is
Or-
the top 4.
Okay,
Yep.
so Stafford might be on there. Who name some other big quarterbacks? I mean,
Well, I'm not going to.
Russell
Uh,
Wilson
Get
is
away.
not on that list.
Well, you would have to think of Russell Wilson. You would have to think of Derek Carr.
No way, Derek Carr.
Well, I'm just naming quarterbacks.
Deshaun Watson.
All right.
Would they actually do
You
that? Is this a
cannot
bad
You guys
be
want-
conversation?
you guys
serious.
ready for
it's got to be. It's got to be. What's his freak? Bengals. Bengals quarterback.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's on there and Stafford. Those are my 2.
You cannot
He's-
put Burrow in that elite.
He
No.
is Tier 1
So
at number 6, but there's somebody ahead of him that I think is so
It's not Stafford.
terrible. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's
Probably
very good.
Lamar
All right,
Jackson.
no. Justin Herbert ahead of
Oh,
Joe
I
Burrow.
thought
This is
of
what
it,
they say.
too.
Herbert joins
Dang
a
it.
short list of quarterbacks to reach Tier 1
No.
before age of 25. Mahomes, Andrew Luck, and Deshaun Watson did it after leading their teams to the postseason and winning there. Herbert pulled it off with a career 15-17 record as a starter and no postseason appearances. This was a quote. Man, I was so impressed with him live. An offensive coach said he has a chance to do something special. He's the best pure thrower of the 3 young guys, Herbert, Allen, Burrow. Didn't realize he was this athletic. One of our studs was chasing him down, and he got around him and was laughing at him the whole time. The competitive spirit, the athletic ability. I saw a freaking stud in our game.
Okay, that defies the definition that you stated earlier with
I know.
make your team
I agree
win.
with that. I agree completely.
That. I mean, like, okay, so Jarrett had it. He had Allen, Herbert, and Burrow.
Those are the final 3. So yeah, I mean,
I thought of Herbert, but I
So-
said no way based on the definition, based on
Yeah,
the
no,
winning
I
for your
agree.
team, no matter what.
Then he had Joe Burrow in here at 6. Burrow has started 26 regular season games and 4 in the playoffs. He has made it through 1 season healthy. He also quarterbacked the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl in Vegas. Blah blah blah. Win total at 6.5 in Vegas, 5th lowest in the league. Voters love how he plays. Burrow is a young Tom Brady, said a GM who placed Allen and Burrow in the top tier, but not Herbert. I think Herbert has shown he can do it in doses. Burrow is a step ahead. I think his mind is a lot quicker than Herbert's. Burrow wins with his brain, and he has had to because he plays behind probably the worst offensive line ever to go to a Super Bowl. I think that is actually spot on, the way he described the Burrow-Herbert comparison. Look,
Yep.
I think Herbert could have a very, very good long career. I do.
Herbert is a
He's the
stud.
next Josh Allen,
Yes.
in my opinion. And Josh Allen, I'm not sure deserved to be a Tier 1.
No.
I agree with the one that Jarrett said. Mahomes, Brady, and Rodgers are the only ones that should be in top Tier 3.
No, Allen is
Tier
top tier
1.
for me.
Allen.
The dude
is
does
tier
not
1.
miss a throw. He is incredible.
All right, getting into Tier 2. Here's the definition. Tier 2. A Tier 2 quarterback can carry his team sometimes, but not as consistently. He can handle pure passing situations and
Herbert.
doses or possesses other dimensions that are special enough to elevate him above Tier 3. He has a hole or 2 in his game. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. I obviously would have loved to see him in Tier 1. I get why he's not, but I think based on what we saw last year, he deserves to be right up there with or ahead of Herbert and Burrow based on the definition that they gave of what a Tier 1 quarterback is. Now,
Right.
nobody's giving Stafford the credit because, you had Cooper Kupp, you had this, you had that. Tigers just tied it up. Let's go. But look at how
Freaking missed it.
look at how good that went. Green did it too, which is awesome. Look at how good it went. I think it's a slight at Stafford. I don't need to go down that road right now. But if I say that there are, all right, let me see how many other quarterbacks are in Tier 2. You got, 7 was Stafford. You got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Russell
13,
Wilson.
and 14
Holy cow.
Okay.
are all Tier 2 quarterbacks.
So
You're right with Russell Wilson.
Wilson, Carr,
Yep.
Carr is
Jackson,
Lamar Jackson.
Jackson.
and
yep,
then
he's 10. You say Watson?
Would they put
Deshaun
Garoppolo
Watson.
at
Deshaun
the tail
Watson.
end of this?
Garoppolo's not. No. There's no way.
All right, so you got Wilson, Watson, Jackson, Carr. You're missing 3. And this is where I get mad that Stafford is in the same category as these next 3.
Yeah, Tannehill might be
Put
there.
Tannehill
Dak
in
Prescott,
Oh, yeah, I should have known that. I should have known that.
Kyler Murray,
Kirk Cousins?
Matt
Don't.
Ryan.
Matt Ryan. Yeah.
I think Matt Ryan's going to have a year.
I think
really
he might
do.
too. I think he
That
might
one's
too.
going to be a very interesting story, I think, this year. That was a 2-out knock, too.
I wish I could like pull that information, just quarterbacks in general, into my brain quicker for these guys. I love these
I
conversations.
love quarterback
like
conversations.
ranking conversations, but I
Yeah.
can never think of quarterbacks.
Yeah,
so then I'm like,
I should have provided
what are
a
the
list
next
for you guys.
teams?
Sorry.
No,
That's
it's
Going
okay.
through cities.
Yeah,
in
I'm
your
just
head.
yes, exactly. That's what
Yep.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Going through
All right.
divisions.
So a tier 3 quarterback is a
Like
legitimate
Breeze is
starter,
gone.
but needs a heavier running game and or defensive component to win.
Tannehill's
A lower
obvious.
volume drop
Yep.
back, court passing offense suits him best. You got 15 through 24. So what is that?
You said there's 6 tiers?
5
So you got 10? Is that 10? 10 names here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Tannehill obviously.
First of all, do you guys think Goff fits in this category, or do you think he'll even fall into tier 4?
I think if he has a good year this year, he could be
Where
in
do you
tier
think he's
3,
at
but
right here right now?
tier 4.
You think he'll be tier 4?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
What do you think?
I
Probably
think
tier 5.
I think Cousins.
I think Cousins could have
He's teetering.
potentially been tier 2, in my opinion.
He has his moments, but he's so inconsistent at other points too. I get.
Mhm.
I think
he's like right at that 2 to 3.
I'm very
zone.
interested to see what he's going to do with a coach that he likes.
I like the Mac Jones thing.
Mac Jones?
Mac Jones has to be on there.
So we already talked Kirk Cousins. He's in there.
Tannehill,
Mac Jones is in there.
Tannehill.
Tannehill's in there.
Garoppolo's got to be in there.
Garoppolo's in there at 16.
How about Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence is in there at 23.
Whoa, good.
Yep.
Good
That's a good
pick
pull.
there.
That's a good pull.
So
So then,
This has got to be Browns quarterback.
no longer Browns quarterback.
No longer Browns quarterback.
Baker Mayfield's in there.
Yep, Baker Mayfield.
Jalen Hurts at 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna we've named all these ones. So we got Kirk Cousins at 15, Garoppolo at 16,
What about Washington?
Tannehill at 17, Mac Jones at 18, Baker Mayfield at 19, Jalen Hurts at 20. Who's Washington's quarterback? Is that Carson Wentz?
Yeah, Carson Wentz.
He's 21.
Okay.
So you got
Really?
so there's 22. You got Trevor Lawrence at 23. So you're missing 22 and 24. 24. Jameis Winston.
Whoa.
What?
Shocking, right? He does not deserve to be in that. I don't think.
Okay, hang on. Do they have Taysom Hill on the list anywhere?
No, not even on the list.
I wanted. I was
Please
just
no.
wondering.
That's like that drop. No. Please no.
No, God, no.
Yeah.
I did want to pull something up here. Sorry, but all right. At 22, Jared Goff. So tier 3.
Wow.
He made it into tier 3.
Okay.
I wanted to pull up what they said about him. And I'm sorry, I should have had this ready. I thought I put it on here. But while we do that, I'm gonna read what they say a tier 4 quarterback is. Actually, I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. So
Well, I'll read it and I'll just tell you the names. We don't need to keep doing what we were doing.
for number 4?
Yeah.
I mean, what's his name? The Dolphins quarterback has to be in there. Lefty.
Tua.
Tua's got to be there.
Justin
Probably
Fields.
Justin Fields. Yeah.
If
Yep.
he's in.
Yeah,
the
I mean
last
it's
tier,
pretty much
that'll make
every
my day.
other team. So or every other player. So a tier 4 quarterback could be an unproven player, not enough information for voters to classify, or a veteran who ideally would not start all 17 games. So 25 through 34. I'll go through those. Justin Fields, Tua, Davis Mills at 27, Zach Wilson at 28,
Pretty good actually.
Trey Lance at 29,
Yep.
Daniel Jones at 30.
Okay.
How do you put Trey Lance above Daniel Jones? Stupid.
Hype.
Like weird. Marcus Mariota, another guy. How do you put Trey Lance above Marcus Mariota? I don't know.
He can run.
Sam Darnold, Mitch Trubisky, Drew Lock. And then tier 5, the only one in tier 5 is
Kenny Pickett.
Geno Smith. Dang it. Good try, though.
I like Geno Smith.
I do want to pull up what they said about Goff real quick. Sorry, but if you guys want to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we have
You
all
don't
the time
have
in the
to,
world,
though, if you
right?
don't want to. Actually, we're moving along pretty quick. I would say we're doing pretty good.
Are we?
Yeah. I mean,
Relative?
yeah, relatively okay. I mean, I don't know.
Did Soto just
so you
hit the
guys-
first batter?
Yep, he sure did.
Oof, right in the ribs.
Good.
That must hurt.
Then we can get a double play.
I mean, I wonder why more people don't do that. Just walk or hit a guy. I don't care. Like, I would say intentionally walk him, put a guy
Oh,
out.
hit him. Screw it. Make it hurt.
So, like, one name that I thought will probably jump really quickly is Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to win the job in Carolina. I don't think Carolina has a lot of weapons, but I'm just shocked how quickly he's fallen off, and I feel like I just think he could jump.
He's
quickly.
one of those guys
people
that you-
forget how good he actually was.
Yes, he's one of those
Yep.
guys you put him in a really good situation, he could flourish.
Yep.
And just because he had talent around him with the Browns doesn't mean he was in a good situation.
All right, so I did find what they said here. I think it's more of Goff's ability to not lose the game than to win the game that makes him a 3. A quarterback's coach said. Wow, that was awful to be read, but not. I mean,
It's okay.
expected, right?
Good job.
He gives Detroit a chance to win, even though he just checks the ball down and allows the defense to do what they do with Aaron Glenn and company. Yeah, they're the worst defense in the history of stats, pretty much. Shoot, didn't get. Oh my gosh, he didn't get any outs.
Did he tag him?
I don't think so. This is a quote here. It was 3rd and 8. They were running the ball. This coach said that was so bad. Now it helped them get it tight. Pittsburgh turned it over twice in overtime on Detroit's side of the field. You can say what you want. They did not trust the guy. They did not trust that guy because he was not very good. Goff picked in Tier 2 after reaching a Super Bowl with the Rams. His stock has fallen every year since. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with a 3 because he's been to the Super Bowl, but he needs the heavy run game and defense, a head coach said. So that's what they said about Goff. And do we want to get in more of that?
No, I didn't listen to anything he
Cool.
said.
If it's craft beer in Michigan sports, we may not be the authority, but we love both like a fat kid loves cake. Hot, hot! This is State of My Sports.
What are we on next, guys?
Yeah, what do you want to do? We've got Shred It or Save It college football edition. Is this something you want to do today or you want to save it?
No, we're doing it.
You want to shred it, you're saying. Okay.
We're doing it.
This is
I gotta grab the hat with the headlines.
Okay, this is the problem with the segment though. Shred it or save it. In this instance, what do we do? Shred it, get rid of it, or
And
save
never
it,
bring it
or
up again?
save it for next week? Both
What?
both
No,
mean
no,
we're
no.
not talking about it.
It's like
I'm not understanding this. I'm sorry.
it's like red light,
Sorry.
green light almost. Like
We're doing all right. We're only at hour 27.
yeah,
we're
what's
actually doing
that?
pretty good.
What's
Like-
yeah.
we're taking hot takes or opinions and we're either agreeing with them or disagreeing with them.
Dude, red light, green light. What's
Right?
what's the show that the Japanese show?
I don't think it was
Wipeout?
Japanese. I think it was Korean or Korea.
Oh, you're right. It was Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
Oh my gosh, you died.
MXC.
I've never watched it.
You didn't watch it?
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Did you watch it?
What are you talking about?
What is that
Red
show
light,
called?
green light. Yeah, what is it?
Jarrett, what's that show called? I know you're gonna know.
My favorite, like one of my favorite YouTubers did the remake
Oh,
of it
the-
or
the
whatever.
Beast? Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast did it. Yeah.
I love Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Th-
I know
he's
he's
so
like
good.
controversial, and people are like,
I
starting
don't know
to hate him.
why.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. It's great content.
All right, so what show is that called?
Yeah, somebody
That's gonna
help us out.
drive me nuts.
Something
Something games.
Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Yep.
All right. Anyways, Micah, this was a great idea.
Sorry.
Thanks,
This
man.
was your segment. So what we do is we have all these random college football headlines, hot takes ready to go. We're gonna pull them out of the hat. We're either gonna shred them or we're gonna save them,
Perfect.
and we'll save them for another time.
Micah said wipeout. Sorry, that's hilarious. Jared's like, not wipeout, Micah.
Did you say wipeout?
Yeah, he's like,
I didn't know what you guys
Wipeout.
were talking
Well,
about.
remember what Wipeout was built after though? Remember that Korean show?
MXC.
Is that
Yeah.
what it was?
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that show was amazing.
Yeah, that was good.
Those commentators, and they like changed them to like. Is that? I missed it, man. You guys already talked about this.
No.
Or they would be talking in like Chinese or Japanese, but they would
Or
they'd
Korean,
be
we don't
doing
know.
this, but they'd be saying something like
and they would say
in
the
English.
funniest things
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
It was so
hilarious.
funny.
It was comedy routine.
It was so
hilarious.
good. All right, what was the first one there, Micah?
All right, so first one is from James Parks of Fan Nation. Texas wins the first Big 12 since 2009.
He just hit another batter to put in a run.
Wonderful.
All right, so they win their first Big 12 title since 2009. So that's basically basing it off of Oklahoma, not like a down year. They lost some recruits that moved
Right.
over to USC with Lincoln Riley. Now, I feel like it's a shred it personally,
Really?
because how many times have we been told that Texas
is back.
Texas is back, they're gonna win it this time, and it's their year and stuff like that. I just feel like it's an old take. It's a I don't know. It just
Well,
feels.
you know what? You better win it before you move on, because then you ain't winning nothing.
Yeah, that's a great point. So they have what, 2 more years in the conference, or is this their final year? And then they got kicked out before they joined the SEC in a couple years, right?
I thought they had 2 years left officially in the Big 12, and then they moved.
And then-
I could be wrong. I don't know.
And Jarrett just mentioned Baylor. Like, we got to bring up Baylor. They're better than Texas, right? They've been better than Texas.
Yeah.
What is Texas? Why should I buy into Texas? Is it all because of their quarterback? Who's their quarterback these days?
Well, they got Arch Manning coming in.
You know, not
they
this
got
year.
Arch
Though.
Manning coming in.
Not this year though.
No, not this year. It's Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers. Yeah. Yep. That's right. So I mean, look, I personally would shred it, but I get it. I don't think it's that outlandish to say that they're going to, because of the step back that Oklahoma could take. But I also think Baylor's ahead of them as well.
I get that, and I get Baylor's ahead of them too. What I mean, did Baylor lose anyone? I don't know. I'm not on the Baylor fan train. I mean, maybe Jared is. I don't know, but
I think Texas
You know
is on a prove it deal right now. Like, how hyped can you get for them year after year with them just underperforming?
I'll buy into it. I'll save
You're
it.
gonna save it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shred it.
I'm going to shred it.
Okay. Shredded.
Oh, I hit it. Yes. All right, Ryan, you
It
draw
had
it.
to refocus.
I did have to refocus. I hit it though. It was awesome. Shout out.
Whoa. All right, here we go.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports. Utah wins the Pac-12, reaches college football playoff.
Who's in the Pac-12?
That's a good
Utah
question.
wins the Pac-12. I feel like their schedule sets up pretty well. Like, it's not. I mean, they obviously got to get back by Oregon, right?
Do you have their schedule on there?
Yeah, I've got the schedule right here, actually. So they start off the year at Florida. That's going to be a challenging first game.
No, they're gonna walk on Florida.
They should win. No,
Anyways,
they
next
should
game.
win.
They should
so,
win.
So at Florida versus Southern Utah, win. Versus San Diego State, we'll see. At Arizona State, against Oregon State, UCLA, at UCLA, home against USC, at Washington State versus Arizona versus Stanford, at Oregon, Colorado. There's a lot of challenging
No.
games in there.
Okay.
So you think shred it?
I'm gonna shred that all day long.
I'm gonna shred it too.
They're not
What's
gonna come
holding you
close.
back there? What's holding you back? USC
Absolutely. USC,
at home.
Oregon,
I think Oregon's the one to watch out for.
Brady Hoke at San Diego State. Well, yeah.
Stanford, Arizona, Washington State. I'm going.
No, I'm gonna shred it.
I'm shredding it too.
Yeah.
Pac-12 just doesn't have it.
I agree.
How many years in a row do we have to see them fail to reach the college
And
football
what
playoff?
was the actual take? It was win and make the college
Wins
football.
the Pac-12 and reaches the college
I
football.
just don't see it.
no,
They would have to go
no.
undefeated.
They could win the Pac-12. In fact, I think they might be favorites to do so. But to reach the college football playoff in the Pac-12 the way it is right now, no, I'm not buying.
Jarrett says not happening. Florida gonna beat them first game
They
of
could.
the year. Go Gators. And then he said shred it. Carrie said save it. Sounds fun.
Okay.
Which means a Big Ten team won't get in. That's kind of the way I look at it, right?
Oh.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
potentially
good
it.
luck.
I got a nice short one here. Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports. Notre Dame will remain independent if it can earn at least $75 million annually in media rights revenue from the current broadcast partner NBC. The Fighting Irish deal with the network is set to expire in 2023. 2025. Now, basically saying if they can get $75 million in their deal, they're going to stay independent. I think that's a load of crap. I don't see how they do it past 2025. If they take $75 million deal with NBC over the 150 to 200 million they can get, every Big Ten school is going to get, they would be stupid. It would be a terrible business decision. I don't see how they're going to do it. And I think the way that the league is going, and it has everything to do with, like, are they going to be able to stay independent and make the college football playoff? I think they're going to set it up for they have to say no, right?
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be hard with the committee. Will the committee make an omit for one team?
I don't know.
You know, like, okay,
If there is one team, it would be them.
Well, right. But what are the rest of the independents going to do? What's BYU going to do?
Yeah, I mean that's another one.
You know,
yeah.
Not to say that they're going to contend for the playoff, but what are they going to do? And if they're going to join a conference, are you going to literally let Notre Dame sit out there on an island and just keep letting them just kind of dictate what they want to do?
It's not up to them though. It's up to Notre Dame and how good they play against whatever competition they want to. Right?
That's what I'm saying. You're going to let them dictate every nook and cranny of
yes,
every
they
move?
will because of popular opinion.
It's
I'm going to save it. I think Notre Dame they could stay independent. They could. I feel like if anybody's going to do this and feel out the next couple of years and see how the landscape ends up,
this is 2025 though, so that's when it expires. It feels like that's kind of that deadline.
They could easily decide that what they're doing is effective and do something on their own and make a TV deal on their own or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't see how it's possible. I really don't. And in 2025, it's going to even go crazy. Like, it just seems so far away that they're going to be forced, in my opinion. So I personally, I get that they. I get both sides.
Okay,
I really
so
do.
I think if there's a greater than 50% chance they join a conference by then.
You would say 51%. Your 51% would go to joining a conference.
Absolutely, it would. Yes, that's more likely my position, but I could see it happening the other way. I could see a route where they're not going to be strong-armed into anything like they haven't been for how many decades.
Carrie's saying shred it. Jarrett said they don't need to they don't need to go to a conference. They should, and I would love it, but they don't need to. It's possible if they can make bank off the media.
They could do one deal independently.
They will make more money just joining the Big Ten and becoming another piece of the pie.
But they might shop around.
Put it this way. I'm going to shred it, and if the Big Ten commissioner, Kevin Warren?
Yep.
So
is it still him? I don't even know. I feel like they changed.
Yeah, unfortunately it's him.
Is it?
So if he reels in Stanford and then locks Notre Dame out of playing those games,
holy smokes.
Kiss that goodbye forever. You know what I mean?
Tigers just gave up their first hit since a leadoff fifth inning single.
Jeez. Well, they had 2 hits before, but that was hit batters from Soto. No,
down 3 in the 10th.
I'm gonna shred it. I just don't see how they get away with it. I really don't. But all right, let's try to move a little quicker here. I think we're doing all right though. And maybe we'll just get rid of the draft.
Oh.
Yeah, let's get rid of the draft.
Yeah.
We don't need to do
this
that.
Nobody
is
cares
hilarious.
about that.
Okay.
All right, what is this one?
Clark Lee from Vanderbilt University, head football coach. In due time, Vanderbilt football will be the best program in the country. All right, time to put the shredder up.
Okay, when I first heard that, my first thought was the second they become, like, let's say they have a winning season for the first time in this, like, century. Like, he will jump ship quicker than anybody. Like, Vanderbilt is a stepping stone, maybe, if you're good and, like, if you're any good. Like, what did James Franklin do at Vanderbilt? It wasn't that special, and he jumped ship so quick. This guy's going to do the same freaking thing. I don't know how. That's the most ungenuine quote I've ever heard. Disingenuous? Whatever, same thing.
Yeah, I think
ungenuine.
I think the Vanderbilt
ungenuine.
I think the Vanderbilt baseball team probably has a better football team than the football team.
Do you think their baseball team laughed at that?
Definitely better quarterbacks, yeah.
So that's an easy shred. Ryan, you want to draw the next one here?
Yeah, I got the next one. Let's see. All right. Brad Crawford from 24/7 Sports says Michigan State finishes 4th in the Big Ten East.
Michigan State
Michigan State.
in the Big Ten East, really.
So obviously putting Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State above, right? That would be logic.
That would be the logical
Right.
thing. Yeah, I mean, I know it's Look, I don't know if we're allowed
That's
to say
hard.
this as a Michigan fans, but yeah, they were finished what, tied for second last year,
Yeah.
but they were
11-win season
but they
last
were
year.
a bad call against Michigan to lose in that game. But at the same time, they should have beat Purdue and been in the Big Ten championship and done what Michigan did. So it's such a hard game to play. But when you lose a guy like Kenneth Walker, I'm sorry, I don't think they grow on trees in the transfer portal. So I think that was more of a flash in a pan type thing rather than the new thing at Michigan State. And you need an offensive line to get through this Big Ten
Yeah,
schedule.
let me read this.
I just don't know how it's possible.
This is-
it seems right to me.
This is the
I'm saving
commentary
that.
from Brad Crawford. So you're saving it.
I'm saving it. But
So
tell
he-
me what they said.
He
Yeah.
says Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker heightened expectations for the Spartans with a jaw-dropping 11-win season in only his second go-around last fall, which means the encore performance in 2022 has to fall short of another top 10 finish, right? While Michigan State's stock price is still high after winning a New Year's Six Bowl, I'll take the profits and sell based on how the 2022 schedule sets up. Michigan State will face as many as 5 nationally ranked teams, including Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Michigan. This might be cheating a bit here, but there's a reason odds makers have moved back on the Spartans' win total back all the way down to 7.5 wins is where
Really?
odds makers are putting that right now.
I want to know what Penn State's season looks like.
I would really want to look at that too.
Yep.
But one thing about Penn State is they have a 12th year senior at quarterback, which should you win some games.
Roughly.
14.
Roughly.
Yeah.
14 years, sorry.
Sorry to correct you.
Sorry. But no, I'm gonna save that. I think that's fair. I think it's legit, and I don't think it's necessarily a slight at MSU's program or Mel Tucker. I think it's just the nature of the Big Ten right now in this conference.
I
This
think
side of the conference.
I think they only have those difficult games. So they do play against Washington, at Washington.
But that shouldn't count in the Big Ten schedule,
Correct.
like the standings.
it does not
But
count
they
in
also
that.
have what? Wisconsin?
So they have Minnesota, Maryland, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Rutgers, Indiana, Penn State. So they have Penn State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Those are their big games. Minnesota's probably toss-up.
Yeah, I would say I think that's fair to say. You're not going to walk in there and win. I think PJ Fleck deserves a little bit more than that. I'm not going to say either team's going to walk in and win that game.
Yeah, I'm going to say shred this one, though. I'm going to say they finished 3rd.
That's what I'm going with.
Really,
I'm going
over
with
Penn
shred it.
State?
Yep.
That's fine. Have we
Here.
saved anything
Here.
yet?
Do you want to change it? Listen. Okay. At Purdue, they got Ohio. They got to go to Auburn. They have Central Michigan, then Northwestern, then Michigan, then Minnesota, then Ohio State, Indiana, Maryland, Rutgers, and finish with Michigan State. That's Penn State's schedule.
I don't see how Michigan State finishes ahead of them. So it'll really come down to that game.
That's what I'm kind of getting at.
So we shredded it. We should have
Yep.
saved that one and revisited it.
I'm shredding.
All right.
They always win something they shouldn't.
Let's move here
Always. Every
real
year.
quick. All right. This one is Notre Dame is the next IT program under Marcus Freeman. This is Ari Warsman from The Athletic. He says, Freeman gets it. He wakes up in the morning to recruit. He craves the interaction, and that's what you need. The results speak for themselves as the Irish are on pace to sign perhaps the best recruiting class in program history. Notre Dame has 10 players who rank in the top 150 nationally in the 24/7 Sports composite right now. I truly believe that Notre Dame is a special place that can be attractive enough to the most elite players in the country and can return to being a legit national title contender. Now, they've never really fallen out of being a legit national contender. They're always there. Like, they were potentially going to make the top 4 last year, which should be considered a national contender, right? Now,
Correct.
nobody actually thinks that they're ever going to win the national title, at least in the last 10 years. even though they've been close. It's just you just
They get
knew that
wiped
they
out
were
by
that
Alabama.
far.
Yep.
They're that far down from Alabama, now Georgia, Ohio State.
Very similar to
say-
what Michigan did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Michigan was in the playoff and contenders, but it was proven that they were far from true contenders.
They were worse than Georgia.
Yeah, way worse than Georgia.
No,
And-
I agree.
It,
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. And not only, you can recruit. James Franklin, great recruiter. But he can't coach. I don't know much about Marcus Freeman. I really don't.
We know nothing.
We know nothing about his coaching style. We know nothing. We don't know. He's bringing in names. That's great. Everybody loves that side of the game. The recruiting's fun. That's what gets you excited. That's what gives you hope. Yeah, have all the hope in the world. But until I know how this guy coaches in games, I can't save this.
Michigan could have
I'm
the
going to
best
shred it.
the best transfer portal in 2 years after Notre Dame doesn't do right by all the recruits that went to Notre Dame instead
That's a
of
great
Michigan.
point because that's the one place you can transfer credits, I think, over
Yeah.
to Michigan, or one of the few.
I just don't buy this either. I mean, how their credentials you need to get into the school. They're school first based athletic or what do you call it, like a scholar athlete. That's always what at Oakland we would always say, scholar athlete, and scholar was first for a reason because academics are more important. That's the same message you get at Notre Dame. That's not the same message you get everywhere.
Yep.
So you're never going to be, in my mind, you're never going to be elite unless you start taking on players that are not exceptional from the scholar part.
Do they say scholar athlete at Ohio State, or is it just like athlete?
No, they don't.
Or they put a $sign in front of athlete?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
say
what happens?
rich athlete. That's what
Rich.
they say.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
All right, so we got a shred, and we got one with a nice little comment here from Jarrett. National title contender, yes, but any new coach with Notre Dame gets hype and can coach well. But this one is no different. I'm shredding it. They will be damn good.
Yep.
But the same as every other year.
Correct.
Playoffs sometimes not, and get their crap kicked in by Alabama and Georgia. I agree.
Because they're scholar athletes first.
Yep. If you're
Scholar
saying
first.
the IT program is Michigan, if you're going to take Michigan's place, yeah, that could easily happen in the college football playoff. But if you're saying IT program becoming the next Alabama or the next
Yeah, right.
Georgia, it seems so far-fetched. I'm sorry. Might regret it, but I'm shredding it.
Yeah,
We're all
Arkansas has a better
shredded.
chance.
Yeah. All right, so
Shred.
all right, let's move through a couple here.
Right?
Ooh.
Clemson won't be elite again. This is Rico Beard from 97 won the ticket. He's just completely off the bandwagon. I'm going to save well, actually, no, I think it's a terrible take. To say that they're not going to be elite
to
again.
save it, though.
I know.
To say they're
I
not going to
know.
be elite again, it seems far-fetched. But on the other hand, when is the coaching carousel going to hit Clemson is interesting. Where are they going to end up in everything moving around?
Well, Venables already left.
He's
That's-
lost coaches,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It's part of the
I
problem.
just feel like it just seems like the writing's on the wall for him to take over Alabama here in the near future, and Clemson will tank. That's what I see happening. I really do.
Right.
So it feels like it might be a save.
Right. That's
They're
what we're-
done.
I'm shredding.
You're shredding?
Yeah,
I'm
they'll be back.
saving.
Oh,
I think
Clemson?
it's
Give me a
silly. I
save,
think it's
baby.
silly to
What
say.
are they in? ACC?
Yeah, I think it's silly
Screw
to
that.
say.
Screw that.
They're not. ACC's not. They're gonna dominate the ACC.
Uh,
They're a quarterback away. How many times do
you
I have
need
to
to
tell
look
you?
at South Beach, sir.
How many times do I have to tell you that their programs are a quarterback away?
A lot.
You guys still don't believe me?
Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it'll be.
Save it.
All right, we're saving that one.
Whatever. I don't
Sorry,
care.
Ryan. All right, moving
I'm
right
distracted.
along.
I'm watching the Tigers. I have no idea what you guys said.
I got two here from Chris Lowe of ESPN. Michigan has the easiest Power 5 non-conference schedule.
Who?
Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan edges out UCLA in their battle of glorified scrimmages to get ready for conference play. Neither team faces a Power 5 opponent, and all their non-league games are at home.
I love
The
it.
Wolverines, coming off their first college football appearance, aren't exactly driving right back into the fray. They open the 2022 season against Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn. It's the first time in 78 years that Michigan won't play a non-conference game against a current Power 5 member or Notre Dame. UCLA plays Bowling Green, Alabama State, and South Alabama. I would consider them pretty even there. I mean, on paper, Michigan's schedule looks tougher because you have a team like Hawaii who can sometimes put a team together, but they're far from that. I've never seen Bowling Green, Alabama State, or South Alabama do anything of value.
No.
So I think it's a kind of a head-to-head thing, but I think it's safe. I'm going to save it just because I think it's legit. It's a ugly schedule. It's embarrassing.
It's
I'm
not
okay
embarrassing.
with it.
I love it. It's taking the Alabama approach.
It
My
is.
goodness.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. It is the SEC approach, not just Alabama, the SEC approach.
We're playing the Citadel in week 2.
And then last,
About time.
we got Chris Lowe from ESPN again. Arkansas has the toughest overall Power 5 schedule. The Hogs are one of 5 Power 5 teams. Georgia Tech, Oregon, Stanford, and Texas Tech are the others that have 2 non-conference games against ranked teams. Number 23, Cincinnati at home to open the season September 3rd, and number 19, BYU on the road October 15th. In the 3 weeks leading up to the BYU trip, Arkansas faces number 5 Texas A&M in Arlington, Texas, and number 1 Alabama at home, and Mississippi State on the road. Throw in the trip to Auburn on October 29, and the Hogs have a stretch where they play 4 of 5 games away from home. The only other one that really stood out to me that I think is comparable is Ohio State's, where you got Notre Dame, Wisconsin, at MSU, Iowa, at Penn State, and against Michigan. That seems a little...
Pretty juggernautish.
On paper, it seems tougher.
Right.
I feel like the reason why Arkansas gets the nod is because they're not as good as Ohio State, where it's like, well, we're better than all the teams that we play, so... I don't know.
Ohio State's favored in every game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's savable, but I think it's a little disingenuous, too. I really do. I think it's the SEC bias kind of getting in the way there of saying, oh, it's the SEC logjam. Well, is Texas A&M really that good? We don't know yet.
Yeah, they just paid a whole bunch of players. They're good.
Yeah, but have we seen it yet?
You can't say that.
Yeah, no, those guys are making more than most NFL players.
I don't know. I
Sadly.
just don't think we've seen it. And I'm sorry, but like Texas Tech doesn't really, I said Texas Tech, right? I don't know. Or no, it's
not
Texas.
Yet.
Texas hasn't proven anything yet either. They're probably going to be that darling that ends up falling off. So I get it.
I'll save it.
I think it's savable.
I
really do think it's
the
savable.
talent difference between Ohio State and maybe a program like Iowa. Could Iowa beat them? Yeah, but should they? No, never.
Yeah.
Based on their talent difference.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that completely.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. State of My Sports.
I lost my sheet, but bettinghero.com, promo code MIBETS. Jump on, sign up for whatever you want. I don't even care at this point. We just want to move along. We're not going to have a full
Are they
Betting
still
Hero
a company?
segment.
Do they?
They are, yeah. They
still
just
do
celebrated 4 years.
Really?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
They're doing
for
good.
them.
They're doing okay.
Seems like it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job. So,
Hey, you guys should support them. They
Yeah.
seem to be doing good.
and they're a local company here in West Michigan. So, but yeah, if you're interested in sports betting world and getting into it, putting some money out there, jump on bettinghero.com, put in promo code MIBETS, sign up there. It helps us, helps them, and it'll help you get the best promos in sports betting world. But we're gonna keep this thing moving right along.
You want to do the draft or no?
No, I don't. That was the
From
shortest
the Red
segment ever.
Wings to Michigan State, we're talking about it. This is State of My Sports.
Are you all right with not doing the draft?
Yeah, it's my favorite segment.
Do it.
All right. Well,
Never been better.
Jared did say Texas A&M is going to be very good.
Yeah,
So-
they're good.
I'll believe it when I see it. But here we are in our beer grade situation here. What we drank was Detroit City Juice. It's a Hazy Ipa from Atwater Brewery, born in Detroit, raised everywhere, it says. So you got the local company here, or local brewery here in Grand Rapids. Also, you got the one in Detroit. I'm sure there's others as well.
Let's go.
But they're hazy ale with our juicy hop combo. 6.3% alcohol by volume, 10 IBUs. I think to consider it an IPA, I would have liked to get a little more bitterness out of it with only 10 in there. But the hazies tend to have that. Excellent beer. I'm not going to complain. Like, this was right up my alley.
It's a great beer.
I loved the grapefruit in there. That stuck out a lot. The orange was very subtle, but you could taste it on the back end. That's kind of where I was at. What'd you guys think about this beer overall?
Personally, this is one of the better summer beers I've had in a while.
Yeah?
Like, nothing too sweet, nothing too, something that bites like an IPA. Nothing against like your Two Hearteds and your Centennials and all that kind of stuff. But, like the Hazy IPA, great style, great flavor. It's super smooth. It's got a great mouthfeel, and that's super easy to drink, man.
I would agree with that.
We knocked all those down halfway through this episode.
Well, I mean, we were long in our intro.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Story time with
I love
Ryan,
this beer.
Sam, and
This is
Micah.
a great beer. This is one of their best beers.
Yeah, what score would you give it?
I'm going to do an 8.5.
You want a little bit more or no?
Yeah, I'll
Just a little bit more. Go finish it
thank
off.
you. Ryan, what would you give it? You're getting a little sip
So
in
I
there,
actually
can you remember?
started the night with an old fashioned.
Yeah, I saw that. And you didn't even bring any for us.
Yeah.
No,
Can I have my
You're
glass?
rude. I brought beer for you.
Okay, so
and you
here's-
just-
Oh, you're right. I'll bring old fashions over. We'll do it
All right.
sometime soon. Not next week. I'm busy. But
Can I have my glass?
oh man,
What a nice guy.
You
Look at
poured some
that.
into yours.
Look at that.
Sucker.
so clearly I started my
So we can,
night out with an
you
old
can go make
fashioned.
old fashioned for us while we drink your beer.
Anyways, it was a good beer.
You want some of this?
The orange? No, I'm good. The orange actually blended really well with what I started everything with, and it was.
Oh, that's
it
a
was
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was really easy to
Oh.
drink. I really like the citrus flavor to it, but it wasn't.
In your face.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm done.
This is a great beer.
It was good.
Should have some.
I would have.
Real quick, Carrie from
That's
was
really
drinking
funny.
Archival Brewing. Had Fritz Folly IPA. It was solid with a 7.8, and then Jarrett just has a fun fact, an actual fun fact, not a joke.
Hey.
Which Jarrett, hey, thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciated your comments tonight.
Yeah, we do.
It was
appreciate
really great. Very insightful.
In the 1800s,
Not
Detroit
all rude.
had more production breweries in the entire the entire country.
Wow.
I think that's what he meant to say there.
He also had
That's
more beer
impressive.
than the entire podcast tonight.
Who did?
Jarrett,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
bland
because he
joke.
typed it wrong.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I thought you meant me for my
No.
rating.
No.
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 I thought this was the most enjoyable Jarrett's been in probably 6 years.
Yeah,
No,
keep it up.
I'm
Nice
just
job,
kidding, Jarrett.
Jarrett.
We
Good
know
job,
we
Jarrett.
love you, buddy.
Normally suck, but tonight you did well. Good job.
Wait, I thought he records on Tuesday night. Why didn't you guys record tonight? He was drinking rum and cokes all night, so
Okay,
but I'm wondering why he
alright.
wasn't recording. Do we need
Hey,
to?
Jarrett, in November. Yeah, I never mind. I'll reach out separately.
Oh, I see how it is.
You can definitely talk to him separately.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Also, huge shout out to Western Little League. I don't know if they won.
They did not.
They lost.
They lost
Oh.
3-2 in extra innings.
In the juniors team.
Yes.
Ah, shoot, that stings. Anyways, Brian, did you give it a
Dang.
grade?
No.
No. You want to?
8-4.
I agree. 8.7. Solid beer.
Dude.
Big fan of this beer.
Atwater.
Beer.
All right, I have been really down on Atwater, like over the years.
Yep.
This is good.
This
This
is
is a
this is
very
one of
good
my
beer.
favorite beers for them. I agree.
It's
with
also
that.
the sign of the times, right? I mean, it's summer.
Don't get me started on that
Great song.
Love me some Harry
Jared had a good episode. Good job.
Styles. Yeah, he was actually the best episode. Out
Best
of all of
episode,
us.
Jared.
He-
Good
he
job.
was- yeah. Thank you guys for recording. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Jarrett, Carrie, love you guys for the comments. We'll talk to you next week, if not sooner.
Peace.
You've been listening to State of My Sports. From the Red Wings to the Lions, to the Tigers to the Pistons, to Michigan and Michigan State, and everything in between, we're talking about it. And don't forget the beer. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. In the meantime, hook up with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at State of My Sports with an MI. We'll see you next time.